Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you? You know how I told you the first 30 seconds are crazy? Okay, I had a bumper song, but no way. This is Rockin'
What
by
was
the
your
Rockins.
bumper song? You totally have to do it.
One of These Nights by the Eagles, the number one song on the charts when I was born that night, and it was my soul song, but I didn't know it till I was like 20 that it was number one that night I was born, and I was
When's
such a
your
soul
birthday?
fan. August 1st, 1975, Leo.
Oh, the hell you say.
Yeah, my dad was born on August 3rd, and his favorite nephew, the 2nd. We got a bunch of best friends, the 31st and the 30th, and then the 4th, 5th, all the way to the 8th.
My mother's unbirthday was August 28th.
Oh, she was a Virgo then. Okay, my favorite cousin was born she was a Virgo by a couple hours.
Well, my birthday's September 17th. My daughter's is September 4th.
I know, isn't it
Everybody,
weird?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's strange. And then I got the Taurus connection on the female side. I got all these Tauruses that always been in my life, and Leos on the male side.
I've dealt with Tauruses my whole life. Tauruses are your Arcturians as well. Okay, they totally are just like Tauruses are like the New Age version Arcturians astrological calendar part.
Okay, I suppose I should You know what? I'm going to introduce this lovely woman here before you, and she's going to flow. She's got a lot of information. Seriously, I mean, you take it for what you want, but I mean, it's pretty fascinating and new and fresh. Okay, Angelique Dorsey. She has spent her life on a mission. She has taught herself a lot of this stuff. She reminds me, ladies and gentlemen, and you know who I'm talking about. She reminds me of my former co-host out of Canada that we did about 30 shows together, Raquel Toombs. Raquel taught herself, and it sounds like Angelique kind of did the same thing. She went on her own journey, did her due diligence, but probably shut out a lot of the noise from the outside while she was trying to learn this stuff and just figure it out. And that's the impression I get from her. She lives in Kansas, and we did find out she was born in Oklahoma. And you guys don't have to give her condolences. I already consoled her for that. She's gonna kill me. Yeah, but
Help me!
she Arctur dude, we got Arcturians going crazy because see the Arcturians right now are going through this funny thing with they want to be back like the Palladians again and have fun, and the Palladians are like, man, we want to ascend and go to your level. So it's an upside down universe. Angelique Dorsey, you got a million things to say. That corn, hey girl, I'm gonna let you go for it.
Okay, so basically, let everybody know this is my first time completely going on um, any social platform and what have you, and really spreading my wings and flying. So, all right. So, and please excuse me, I might say the word nigga. Oh well, that's how I grew up. I don't mean it in any shape or form of racialness. I mean it in a way that, in the vibration that I speak it, if I say the word nigga, it's for the aspect that I have. I have a whole dialect of it. It's my own ebonics, if you will. I mean, I grew up with the word nigga, so and I could do the best corn rolls ever too. Um, anyway, so I'm going to start with something. Most of my channelings, I mean, I've journaled a lot. I actually have um, the first part of my journey in 2017. I was woke in 2017 completely. But I started journaling then, and I had so much work. I had like two books, I had like 20 million journals. I mean, I had everything from A to Z, and I was emotionally manipulated into giving it to someone. So, but I won't go into that right now. It's okay. Everything happens for a reason. So, but anyway, so this is one that I started after I was finally able to mourn my mom and a Jim passing. And hold on a second. Where are you, dude? I've got so much in here.
What's going on? Did you get?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
No,
Go,
I'm just looking for the proper one. Are you ready? Okay.
go for it.
All right. Now remember, these are channeled ones. So I am trying. You make me wonder if I was ever okay in my own head. But that's all right because maybe I was uncomfortable with being okay. Bear with us, me. That's the spirit of trying. And he rests upon people that are trying to get better. Spirit of trying is He's worked very hard to be on these planes, because everybody's tried and tried and tried, and they've just been brought down too many levels. So, spirit of trying is here, to be put upon people's souls, to encourage them to try, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I was digesting it. Isn't it profound sometimes how you can get? That's just a couple sentences you said. I know one other person
Right.
like that can do that, and it just I would have to write a book to tell all that. To get that kind of a
I
point
know.
across. Yeah,
I
I know.
understand that at the highest accord. Okay, so here's another one. We have 2.5 years to get ready what is about to come. We will not deviate from the divine order of the original blueprint. There is no gray area. Everything is a color, and color is love of self. So, therefore, 2.5 years is plenty of time to come up with a scenario for the coming of the world leader. Now, I channeled that in, uh, well, January 11th, 2023, and it'll be 2025. So, there you go. That ain't happened since, and I'm reading this now because that it says 2.5 years to get ready for the world leader. That was channeled 111 to 1E23. And so, most of my time, I hardly date my channels, nor do I mean, a lot of them I know who I channel, but some of them are left unchanneled, or I mean, unsigned. So, but the majority of the ones I did, and like I said, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I channel from the deepest, darkest of the void, if you will. I mean, I've seen it. If anybody has done any meditations or went into themselves, they know what the void is. But I think the void is where, you see everything, which is the Akashic records. That makes sense. Do you know what the Akashic records are? They're kept in the Palladians. I do know that.
Yeah, they're going to download. Look, we have them locked in our brain already. We're going to get to download some where the Akashic records are just going to appear. They're stored in our
Okay.
mind.
Well, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
absolutely. Akashic records are everywhere. We wouldn't be able to store them correctly if we wasn't able to have them everywhere. Akashic records is data.
I think
Okay.
symbols are everywhere telling us too. You know how they always complain about these bad symbols manipulating us, but I think there's good symbols too that
Of
show
course
us
there
and
is.
provoke us. Yeah, yin and yang.
Of course there is. Yeah. And then try being uh, somebody that was raised religious. I was Pentecostal growing up. I had no idea anything about symbolism. I mean, when my spirituality came upon me, I was like, no, what are y'all doing? I didn't want to go on my spiritual journey. I didn't know I was supposed to go on one. Okay, my angels and guides are kicking me in my ass and they're like, bitch, get your shit in gear. We need you. And I
Were
had
you
to
jaded?
struggle.
Yeah, but
Pardon?
were you jaded though, the fact that you grew up in a religious home? Was that messing with your head at the time too? Like, no.
The only thing that messed with me was just my whole absolute togetherness of what I
Mhm.
went through from A to Z, and like I said, that's an Oprah show right there.
I know. I think
But
same thing.
right,
Yeah, yeah, I know. You guys, it's terrible.
um,
I'm terrible,
I
but
grew up in the best of both worlds. Okay, I
mm,
grew up in the drug world, and I grew up in a religious world. My grandparents
mm,
were religious, and my mom was a drug addict, and um,
mm,
and my father was an alcoholic, and what have you.
um,
So, I really don't want to get into my life story right now.
yeah,
Let's just
I know this
wait for
isn't.
that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this does not necessarily reflect the opinion management here. This is not AA hour. Okay, we're back on track now.
I have A in A meetings here as well. By the way, I had Angels. I run my own business.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. You play it pretty close to the best. Yeah,
Well,
you're
it's
good.
my own business. It's a non. I've ran it nonprofit for many years,
Yeah.
and I'm just now looking to possibly turn it into an LLC,
Mhm.
and set my legacy. And yeah, it's been a long
So,
road, and I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Steve,
So
do you think if you grew big enough, do you think you might need a assistant who was a human resources specialist at one time that can maybe like even go get your dry cleaning, go get your lunch, do the things you need to have done while you're, you know,
who
I'm just,
who are you
I,
talking about?
I've been putting myself out there for the job. You're gonna when you're busy like that, you're gonna need a go-to. You need a guy to do
I
your
wouldn't even,
go-to.
you know what, honestly, let me tell you something, Mr. Larry, okay?
Yeah.
My biggest deal in all my journeys and everything else that I've done on myself, okay, and as I sat within myself many times, I mean, I'm addicted to healing, okay? It's a sickness. Okay, healing yourself is a sickness, I promise you. It's more addicting than anything. Especially if you're fucking from the real indigenous, spirits of the spirit of God.
Oh boy, you
They're like
would.
you have. They're like you have no choice but to heal, bitch.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I feel like saying that sometimes to our star brothers and sisters. Like, okay, you have no choice. We're gonna stand here. We're not. No, we're not playing that game. No, no, you're gonna. No,
Yeah,
no.
it's
I know.
it's it's
I
one
know
of
you're
those.
not playing
It's
the
one
right.
of those. It's
You've
one
got
of
to come
those
out of
things
your
that are
comfort
you're
zone.
just DNA coded and it's like, and I'll tell you this, time stops in order for you to heal and
No,
to do it in your own time space.
sure
If
does,
that
doesn't
makes
it?
sense.
Oh, fuck, perfect sense. That it'll even stop for you and give you a little
Yeah,
extra time. For you to-
when I realized that, I kind of like I felt really humbled at the thought that that I was that important in life, that that the universe, that's how much the universe loves me. I realized because she was
Yeah,
willing to stop time so that I could, you know, get my gatherings, pull myself
right.
together, figure out I'm
Sure.
in society.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
I know.
damn, these people.
Well, hold on. It ties in. It ties into like yesterday. Like it's weird because we know the time is sped up and it's gotten real fast and fast and
Oh
fast. We all know.
gosh, yes.
But listen. But then there'll be those days. You'll get a day once every couple months or once a month. You'll get a day where it seems like time is just relaxingly staying still on one day. And I wonder if that
Oh
day
yeah.
happens. I wonder if that day
Those are
happens to kind of put things back in place.
those are yeah, you're right. God does take a vacation every once in a while. But those days that you're feeling, those are your leap days, and you probably won't have many more of those because now that
Mm-mm.
the 13th constellation has shown itself now in the real time. Okay,
Yeah,
they can't no longer, birth charts are changing, mine changed, and what have you. So I think that's very significant, because they kept the 13th constellation out, the motherfucking uh
I'm
uh
glad you brought
oh,
this up.
pardon
Yeah,
me, shit, I didn't mean to. My bad, YouTube. Don't you dare do that. Don't you dare.
yeah. I'm glad
Anywho,
you brought that up. This is a hot topic between these other enlightened, this enlightened channel of Larkma. They were talking about a 13-month
yeah,
calendar and how and it
right.
would really
That's
make sense. Do you think could you ever see us evolving as a society into having one though, making a change like that? That'd be pretty radical.
but there
Not
will
for
never be
me.
another calendar. We will eventually, people will just stop looking at it when they
Yeah,
realize that you don't have to do, because the calendar is the 24/7 matrix. Okay,
that's what I figured.
so
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, and then the only reason why we adhere to it now is because we're conditioned. That's our
Mhm.
belief. That's there. You still got at least 4 generations left that it'll take before the calendar's obsolete. At
That
least.
resonates with me. That resonates with me. That resonates with me. The kids are going to be born in the 40s and be in their 20s, like in the 60s. They're going to get a big DNA upgrade. And then after that, we're looking
Hmm.
at. I mean, these kids that are coming in the later part of the century, if every
Yeah.
things stay even,
Yeah,
it's going to be.
like my grandchildren, they'll never know. They pretty much won't know what a calendar is. Very rare, very barely. A calendar to them will be like a cell phone to my kids when it first came out. You
Yeah,
know,
it'll be. Yeah,
they'll be
and it'd
like, a
be like.
calendar. They'll be sitting on my knee going, or Nani, tell us about the calendar. How did you use it? What did it mean? All these
Yeah,
square boxes. What's Christmas? And that of course will be a couple of generations, but that's not too far away
yeah. Well, I'll tell you
at
what.
all. People don't
I got
understand that.
No, I gotta tell you something real quick.
Sure.
My son came home from school about 13 years ago, and he said, "Dad,
Uh-huh.
we went to the museum today," and he said, "Dad, those rotary phones, those look weird. Have you ever had one?" We had it. We had all modern phones, but we had this one out in the garage that was a rotary, and so I'd go out there and talk on it in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was old then.
Uh-huh.
But he was trying to figure out how to use it. I said, "Son, could you and your friends use it in an emergency?" He said, "No, Dad, we couldn't figure it out." But then that's the weirdest thing. That was just that same day he was on the phone and he comes freaking out to me and he says, Dad, what the hell is this? And he gives me the phone. There's this weird sound. It's creepy. And he's 12 years old. It was a fucking busy
Sure.
signal. He had never heard a busy signal in his life.
Right. Oh my gosh,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Would you? You
crazy.
know, I felt old, man. The rotary phone and I've never heard of
Oh
busy
yeah.
signal. Yeah,
I know
um,
it was so funny. And this is off topic, but oh well, I guess we're just going to fly by our seat of our pants.
yeah,
But that's
yeah. We're not
okay. Well, that's everyone's showing up anyway, and that's kind of why they're just kind of taking seats, if that makes
hmm
sense. And they're just
Absolutely.
like, there's so many energies, deities, entities,
hmm
um, whatever you name it, showing up for
Deity.
this. This is more than people understand. This is more like, and dare I say, I'm running down the the street going, ah, Jesus is coming in the clouds.
Well, wait
At
till I
the
get
sake,
into the story. Wait till I
at
break the
the
story
sake of
about the
sounding like
Periwinkle.
one of them. At the
Yeah, the
sake of
Periwinkle.
sounding like one of them, the Messiah complexes, I'm totally
Yeah,
saying who's showing up, and I don't care because number one, I know the difference. Okay,
yeah,
okay, I know what the Messiah complex represents. I know all that shit. So my basic deal is like, it is what it is, and like I said, energies are energies, and it could be just look at that. Post Malone's present.
yeah.
He's the
I wonder,
moderator.
I
He's
wonder,
the
I wonder.
moderator.
I wonder if anybody realizes. I wonder if anybody in here was born from 1977 to the end of 1980. Because I made a discovery tonight. We didn't go right from the Blu-rays to the Indigos, ladies and gentlemen. We had a 4 year gap, 77 to 81. We had the Periwinkle kids come in and the Periwinkle rays. I'm still working on getting the details, but you might be a Periwinkle ray if you were born then.
Periwinkle. Okay, so remember I told you when you said periwinkle? Okay,
hmm
so periwinkle is only the color that a colorblind person sees from purple
Really, that's
because they
fascinating.
because and most Tauruses are colorblind. Okay, but most Tauruses or anybody that's colorblind, they will see all the regular colors which are dark. They'll see them in like a pastel or a lighter color. So they would see purple as periwinkle. That's one of the reasons why indigo became a color, if you will. It was mixed between the rays of, the well, actually, as a matter of fact, when your red and your purple come together, you get a nice periwinkle blue.
Well,
Well, look at the
yeah.
color on my wall, kind of like that. Sort of.
Star systems have modernized our color scheme. The Pleiadians told me years ago
Yeah.
a couple things they're responsible for: the hippie tie-dyed colors coming in, and then that kind of psychedelic
Oh yeah,
rock, and
that's
then transferring it into disco to kind of
tie dye will never go out ever, ever,
yeah, that
ever.
color. But other star systems have gotten those different neon. I mean, colors. It isn't like a 1970s wallpaper in a trailer. You know what I mean? Anymore, the flowers. I mean, these things are
Monaga
translucent.
furniture.
The translucent color realms here. And if anybody's in the chat room ever
Hmm.
heard of the Arcturian translucent color realms, give a shout out and say, hey, they're in the 12th dimension. Crystal blue angels are up in the 13th.
I holler at any dimensions, this way, that way, and every which way, of course.
Absolutely.
But I
Well, I
don't
try
I
not to.
don't really. I was like, I learned. I, I don't look. I've learned of dimension hoppers and I've learned of timeline jumping and stuff like that. But I don't recognize that shit. Because I
I
do.
don't
I
either.
I
It's
see it on a
so
way
cliche.
different level than others do. Yeah.
Me,
Huh?
hold on, me too. Yeah, I see a lot of that stuff as cliche and it's kind of metaphors for stuff. But I
Yeah.
think
Oh yeah.
the real timeline jumping we're doing, because you're operating different dimensions. Except I don't like to go below three. I don't go below three, and I really don't even like being in three or four.
You
So
can't, and nobody
yeah,
can anymore. If you do, then I mean that's one of your own programmings that you have to heal. If you go
yeah.
past any vibration, because they don't exist anymore. Anything below like a third dimension in your mindset, it don't exist
Mhm.
anymore. If you feel like you are in that, then you are just completely healing an aspect of yesteryear. Because when the violet flame was activated, oh Saint Germain, he was like, niggas, we
Yeah.
online. That's what he
Well,
did, I swear.
yeah, the blue
But
flame with my yeah.
well, regardless, when that seal was broken or what have you, um, that was the signal for the universe. It was the gong send it out to the people of the universe with their consciousness, and whatever part of your consciousness that you had ascended to or had opened up to or whatever, that's what the blue flame ray touched people with. They touched it with that frequency and vibration of whatever they could handle. That was it just came in like, just like dun 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 dun, dun, whatever. It was the best I could do is say it like that. It's like whatever consciousness you were on at the time that the initiation or the flame happened, then that's how elevated you became. Now when it originally happened, if you want to get motherfucking technical, um, and I can't say any dates, but I'm pretty sure it was 2012. And that's when I got activated. I mean, I was hearing when I got activated, I thought I was having a mental breakthrough. I had no idea about no spiritual journey, nothing. I had no idea. I had no idea about nothing. Okay, and I'm hearing a baseball game in my living room, and I'm like, I go in there and I look, and knowing it's not on the television, but I went in there like 3 or 4 times because I kept hearing it. I heard the crack of the baseball bat, I heard the roar of the crowd, and I heard the announcer, but there was no baseball game going on. And then I heard a radio station. This is when I got activated in 2012, by the way. So, um, December 21st, as a matter of fact. Happy anniversary, everybody. Hey. um, but
Paula.
regardless of the fact, and then I was hearing a radio station as well, and I can remember it as the day is long. But the song that the announcer said, he was like, here's Whiskey Millionaire was the name of the song. Yeah. And I thought that was very unique and very awesome that
That's a cool name. Yeah. Did you say Whiskey Millionaire?
I did. I did. I heard
That's
it plain as day
exciting.
in my head. Yeah.
Fascinating. How fascinating. Be a good name for a movie too. I mean, that's a really catchy. You know what it reminds? You know what it
Yeah.
reminds? No, seriously, this is the trip. This is only the second time ever. That phrase that you just said, that
Hmm.
reminded me kind of the first time I heard the word Pleiadians. I'd never heard them before, and
Really
I didn't know what to do with it. I wasn't excited about it, but I wasn't not excited about it. I wasn't really into it, but I was kind of into it, and I didn't know where to stick
interesting.
with it. Yeah, and that feeling and that whiskey, I kind of got a little bit of that
Hmm.
feeling with the millionaire term. Is that weird?
Yeah, it was something that was totally, like I said, I thought I was going crazy. I actually had to Google a mental breakdown, yeah, because I mean, yes, I was stressed out at that time. I mean, I was at the beginning of my stress at that time, you know, um, and when that happened, I went to the doctor, and that's when I started my Xanax, being on Xanax and drinking more heavy and everything. It took me a long time to come out of my motherfucking sleep. I had to have 2 near-death experiences. Like I said, my angels and guides are literally kicking me in the ass, like, bitch, get your shit in gear. We need you. And I was like, no, you can't make me. I ain't doing it. I literally was fighting tooth and nail. So number one, I didn't know what the fuck it was. Okay. And I was like, why are you going to tell me I have to go on something I don't even know anything about? Okay. I grew up religious. There, whatever. I mean, like I said, just probably like anybody else, you know, uh, fighting, going on their spiritual journey. But I mean, like I said, it's inevitable. Everything happens for a reason, and you have no choice. That's all I gotta say about that. You can go try to hide, but they'll find you.
Well, hey, I do got a really important question to ask you. You know, because a friend of mine has gone through this. He's about as awakened as I am, but he grew up in the church too. And
Hmm.
do you feel that
Hmm.
even after you got as an adult, do you feel like some of that stuff has influenced you at all? Still, like you found it
Oh, dear
kind
God,
of
yes.
yeah,
Um,
you kind of run
I'll
away
tell
from
you
it.
this much. I'll tell you this much. Okay, so I'm very famous for my Bible jokes. Okay, I was gifted with the art of sense of humor with both sides of spirituality and religion. Okay, and I mean I put it in a way that number one, because I mean I channel all that energy. I mean I totally come from those apples. Totally. Actually, one of the names of one of my books is the real story behind the first bite, BYTE. So, um, but regardless of that, um, hold on a second.
Channel it. Wait till you hear her story about the corn.
Hold on. See, they know what they want to do. Like I said, there's so much. there's more than just Arcturians and Pleiadians and star seeds and everything. Yes, those are
Yep.
star names and star seeds and everything. Those are energies,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the fact,
Yep.
it's like, yes, we are 99% everything else and 1% human.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And
you
really,
take 99% of everything that God created from A to Z, and we are it. We are all one. And
absolutely.
when people understand that, then like I said, did you hear about the lights over? And I don't mean to bring up politics, but I have to in a
No,
good
please
way.
don't. I think you're just trying to get away from my
No,
work for president.
trust me, no. I'll get there, but I have to put this in here. Okay, so there was been said that there was lights seen over the White House and what have you, and I was laughing
Mm-hmm.
so hard. I was like, never you mind, guys. I was like, that's just Trump's administration showing up.
You know what? Yeah, that's great too. And you know what though? I swear to God, for years I would watch the news. They'd be at live at Washington D.C. in the background, the White House in the background. I've seen UFOs on TV fly over the
But
goddamn White House
like,
before.
you know what?
Honestly, you know.
The aliens and the UFOs, they'd be like, you know what? They already know about us, so we're just gonna land at the airport.
Yeah, no, it must be a fun position for them to be in because they're good. Most of those star
I
systems are
mean,
good,
come
loving,
on.
big sense of humor, and they must
I
shake their
mean,
heads to us, though. I mean, they must shake their head,
I
and I
they have every right to because our cones are too young
well,
for
no
this.
shit. God,
Your
but
cone is
no,
too young for this.
but they're ascended enough to where, especially when you get up to the Arcturian realms and shit. I mean, you're right in the angelic realms, basically, and they're mature enough to they understand it. You know, they understand that it's part of our growth. They see that big picture, though, too. But yes, I'm sure we give them a laugh now and then too. Well, in fact, I know we
Well,
do.
at least they know laughter is the best medicine, and they know I do it in a vibration of only good.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. And it's a love. It's not, and it ain't nothing but a love vibration, seriously, like pure. It's not a judgment
well,
thing. It's not a good thing or a bad thing.
something's got to heal this world.
It's
Something's
just an
got to heal this
energy.
world.
Because when
And
you
if we
break it
can't,
down, it's just energy. Yeah, it's just
if we
energy.
can't laugh at ourselves, and if we can't sit back and see the holy roller aspect of every single
Mhm.
thing, then you might as well just go put your head in the sand again. Okay, because if you can't understand that simple fact, is that if you cannot
Self-deprecate, yeah.
laugh, hmm and you have
Right?
to look at both sides, because you know what the biggest belief is going to be the hardest to break down, that Jesus ain't coming in the clouds. You go tell him I ain't.
No, I think what they're gonna listen. I think what they're gonna have an issue with, and I want to bring this up: beings in the clouds, right? I think the interdimensionals are gonna trip them out just as much, if not more, than the UFOs coming here. It's the interdimensional thing. Try explaining something. You probably can, but try explaining to somebody something you saw in another dimension that you've never seen here before. Try to,
Me.
relate that. Well, no, I mean the body shape. I've seen some weird shit that I couldn't even tell you. You might be able to make
Um,
some sense of it.
I where I'm
Seeing
at,
the color,
where I'm at. Okay, number one, I've seen astrally my whole life. Okay, I didn't even realize that God gifted me with rose-colored glasses when I was born because of that reason.
mm,
So, and He knew that I would, because I'm blind on the physical, but I can see spiritually, if that makes sense. I can see just fine
yeah,
on the physical, woo woo woos. Okay, but I'm
absolutely,
blind, if that makes sense, because my veil is up,
yep.
because of how much I can actually see on my right. That's my right eye. The right eye don't know what the left eye is doing.
Yeah, man.
Part of
Yeah,
the
my
rainbow
two.
covenant.
I know. I've got two kids
That-
that are legally blind. Yeah, it's
yeah, that's a part of the 888 consciousness, Christ consciousness.
oh, they're both
Yeah, it's
super.
like,
They're both super ascended geniuses. Yeah, my daughter was getting contacted by the creators of Minecraft when she was 8 and 9 years old, and I don't know much about the game. I watched her play, but she had already
mm,
she got to meet the girl who was number 4 in the world in it, and she was like 25. My daughter like really beat her, but my daughter didn't want anything to do with it. So, Dad, I just want to be left alone. I don't want any of that. I don't want to, deal with that. And because all these
good,
people,
yeah.
yeah, but she just, I mean, I felt like, yeah, but gosh, I wish she would have taken the opportunity. Well, it worked out. She's graduated from college already, and so she didn't, and create a new Minecraft game. Right?
Okay, so this one, I've been really pressed to read, and like I said, some of these are, I don't know all of them that have channeled through me, because I found myself I can channel like 5 different entities at a time. because either
Mm-hmm.
they were incarnated together, or
Mm-hmm.
they had the same
Me too.
energies, and they all have the same epistles, if you will. I mean, I could straight go like a dot 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 dot. It's
Hey,
happened.
I know, hon. Hey, I got a group of 10 girls that didn't, I didn't find out till later. They all went to college together up in the Pleiades, and they do different things. And I met them, two of them through a dream. And I mean, it's like a reality. So I hear you. You can. They're real, and they can even come together and give you a joint message. You know what I mean? Two of your guides that you channel alone, and they might come to you at the same time.
Okay,
You know?
so
No.
let me read this. So be quiet for a minute, Larry. I love you.
Love you too, baby. Yeah.
If I am supposed to love, then how come I am hated by the ones that I do? If I am supposed to hate, then why am I loved by the ones that I do? Hate is not a word, it's a feeling of an action taken upon someone that didn't understand that love was is all there is. Hate is only the opposite of love. Can't understand what love truly is and means to one that understands why hate is forgiving the hurt of the pain of not being loved.
I don't know.
It should be eradicated.
I,
Love comes
I,
in many different shapes and sizes and understanding, and love should be redefined by hating to hurt others because of the pain that it has collected. Hate will
no.
not win when love is all you have to give. I am a wonderful person. I am generous. I am giving. I am smart. I am beautiful. I am everything. I am a wonderful mother. I am beautiful. I am fruitful. I'm a healer. I am saved. I am the best. I am badass. I am a goddess. I am understanding. I am truthful. I am compassionate. I am loving. I am,
Wow. Wow.
pardon.
Wow.
And I get overwhelmed with a lot of emotions,
I
and that
understand.
it's
You
like,
might have told, yeah, you told that to the one person you're preaching to the choir with. That is me. That is why I can't understand this world. When you are that kind of person, like you just read, this is not a cool place to be sometimes.
right, right. And then when you my heart chakra's been open my whole life, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And and it's only been enhanced with everything that I've been given, the love, the understanding, the guidance. I mean, you name it. I mean, I've been surrounded by everything you can understand, and
Right.
I praise God for that. Um, and and like I said, I don't know what any different is. And I don't understand why anybody would not want to be a part of it and accept it and be a part of it and just like, hey, let's just wallow in it. Let's just go swim in our coins, like, Uncle Scrooge, and Launchpad McQuack. Swim in the coins of love. Anyway, but I'm a very highly emotional person, and that's one of the biggest things I've channeled is the emotions, which is energy and motion, by the way, in case anybody did not know that. Emotions are energy and motion. So when you have a lot of energies that are floating around because nobody really understands the true meaning of them, like Jesus dying on the cross, Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ were twin flames, and they made her out to a prostitute. She was a prostitute in the Bible, and they had to cover it up. Well, guess what? Jesus Christ was our best customer.
Yeah, I feel the perfection on the field, and we never have gotten real with each other about that. And I don't know who these weirdos
No,
with their
and
DNA
it's
that want
time.
to mad about it. Yeah, the
It's
Pleiadians like
time.
so.
I mean, well, and that's what I'm saying. I was like, this is the energies that, number one, it was a long journey between Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, and they fucked it all up. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. They talk about aliens in the Bible. They talk about Palladians. They talk about shit
All
like
that.
that in the Bible. And I could go
Yeah.
on and on, but I won't
Yeah,
because
and if you were even gonna believe the scenario of the Immaculate Conception, of course, if that was true, it would have been it would have been a high tech or artificial insemination, not somebody just snapping their fingers and going, "Oh, you're pregnant." You know what I mean?
what do you have me in? Israel.
I don't know. Somebody said
Okay.
free Palestine, free Israel. Yeah, I don't. I agree with it. Hey, bro, I
You
agree
better
with
not
you.
have me in here as an infidel.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. I know the guy who runs Israel's a nut job, and half the people are great, half the people want to keep that football field they stole 50 years ago. But I don't know, bro. That ain't my thing. It's always been burning since the world's been turning over there. Hopefully,
I understand.
we're avoiding the consciousness. And here's the thing with the Middle East guys, you got some good news. The divine feminine, even though they may be repressed in those areas, the divine feminines come straight from Pleiades. My buddy also got a
Oh
tan
God.
hand. Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah. They're holding the strength behind the scenes right now. They're really doing their part, and of course, it's got to be on the down low over there because of customs and whatnot.
Oh,
But
oh,
yeah,
beyond. There'll be rumors of wars and wars of rumors. Okay, whatever. Wars of rumors. There you go. I said it right. But when I look at the fucking and this is how I know how things are, and I know how to follow nature, and I know how to follow the moon cycles. Okay, and that's the only reason why I've known of different times and ways, and I paid attention and when I was in church, you know, and from and we talked about we didn't get to this point earlier, Larry, was of growing up religion and then growing what I do know now, then that's what my gift is being able to put that wisdom together, that love wisdom of religion and spirituality together from the Bible. I mean, I study different types of Bibles. I just love this. I to look at the scriptures and see the wording of them and the way that the vibration of it was delivered. Okay, because I mean, like a thee, thou, and the. Okay, that can like change a whole connotation for fucking, pardon, for whatever. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are fucked up in the head or messed up in the head is because they were taught the wrong vibration of the word, the meaning of the scripture. And then when it's taught over and over and over, you're just like, oh, I believe that, blah, blah, blah. You dot, dot, dot. So you just put it in there, and everybody's got their own version of Jesus. And like I said, I've been trying to go do my first sermon. Okay. And I called one church just to see how it is because they already know me around here anyway. I've been here for 20 years making my mark. Anyway, so they never did call me back. They're like, oh, shit, we ain't let Angelique.
well, I'm so surprised there. That's got to be a shocker. You've been there 20 years. They know you. Yeah, well, boy, I'm surprised.
They know me now.
I bet you were just floored.
What, for not letting me come do a sermon?
Yeah, yeah, man, I bet you were
No,
just surprised they said no.
no, they didn't never call me back
No, that's what I'm
because
saying. I bet they shocked you, though. I bet you were
well,
like, wait.
of course I was because any church is supposed to. Okay, so if you are a fledgling, wet behind the ears a speaker, you don't have to be a preacher, you don't have to be an evangelist or reverend to speak the word. You don't have to have a license. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to have any of that to go to a church and speak the word. I promise you that. But they do have to go, okay, well, they want to be a guest speaker. They have to entertain that because they are a nonprofit organization, a church is. So like I said, I just like dipped my toe in the water just to see because I know all I have to do is go in there and say the word nigga once. Everybody gets the spirit. Oh my God, I can't believe she said that. Oh.
Yeah, man. Though, I got to tell you, I know where you grew up, but man, it's and I grew up with a lot of it. A lot of my African American kids ran a game with them. And yeah, man, we didn't breach that with them. Yeah, that was kind of
My
we didn't go there.
my grandfather was a reverend. My grandfather was a reverend, and he was my mentor. In hindsight, now I know, but he was the first person that I saw do Reiki. He did Reiki on me when I was a kid, and he healed my ear because I had an earache. We were opening up the church. My grandparents had their own church, and I said, "Grandpa, my ear hurts." I was about 11 years old, and He's like, come here, and he puts his hands on me. He's like, in the name of Jesus, you know, we rebuke it. You know, and see now, and and now that I know Reiki and I'm a Reiki master and certified, I mean, I'm like, that's just the same thing as laying hands on people. We just don't go in the name of Jesus now. We just don't do that. We just lay hands on people and let me see what your energies are. That's how I do mine, as I can see colors. When I lay hands on people, and then of course, I would just be by somebody. I'm like, okay, your blood pressure is this. I'm pretty good at what I do. I'm a metaphysician of the highest order.
How long? How long have you been a Reiki master, and what level did you achieve? Did you have a? How did you
Okay,
get
well let me tell you how I've done mine. Okay, so here's my biggest deal. Okay, I've done all I did the classes a long time ago, and I because you did the modules, you had to buy the program online, and then you could do the modules at your own pace. Okay, it was just the hands-on training and doing under a master and stuff like that. Well, I didn't have none of those resources here. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I've had my own business, my spiritual business when I started doing all this. And I use all my friends as guinea pigs and what have you. But the thing about it is like I didn't have somebody I could, there was no other healer here that I knew of in
Oh,
this
I
town
bet
that
not. Jeez.
especially that I could teach under or learn under. That was I think I'm pretty sure I'm the only one here. I think they had to send me one time because I was like so fucking drained of energies. I'm like, help!
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you this on a side note. Do they have? Okay,
Yeah.
if you went to Kansas City, would they have a metaphysical center there? You know, the Crystal Shops Metaphysical
Oh
Center.
yeah. There's some in
Casey,
Topeka. There's some in
okay.
there's some in. I go to the Spirit Mind and Body Fair and shit like that. I mean, yeah. Now that I know how to heal myself, of course, it's different. But like I said, when all this started, anyway. So I've had a lot of certifications. I have 2 degrees. Blah blah blah. I was like, but I never feel the need to put it up on the wall. I never felt the need because I've had such a private business and I've never advertised. I've never charged hardly anything for my services because I don't believe in charging for a spiritual direction
No, I
at
don't either.
all.
I don't either. Well, okay, with my Blu-ray healing, here's the deal. If you can
Hmm.
afford it, I charge $5 an hour for it. If you can't afford it, I
Hmm.
don't charge you anything. And if you say you
Right.
can't afford it and you can, that's fine. That's fine. No bad karma is going to come if you're lying to me. That's fine. Or I charge. What I do is $1 for every
Hmm.
10 minutes. A buck for
Right. And
every
see,
ten
that's
minutes.
fine. I mean,
Yeah,
my
it's energy
ancestors and
for
guides
them, not
have,
me.
have been
Yeah.
trying to encourage me to monetize my
Mm-hmm.
gift all the time, and it's hard for
Mm-hmm.
me to. And I've gotten better at it, yes, because I've had to learn the art of receiving because I'm a giver. So I've had to learn the art of receiving. So
Yeah, and it's
it's been very
true.
hard, mind you,
You,
but now I'm getting better
YouTube
at it.
changed
Trust me,
it.
I am.
Yeah, YouTube. It used to be a lot easier to monetize on YouTube. YouTube's a bitch now. It's hard. I mean, I've got $99 that'll never come to me because you got to make 100 first of all to let them send it to
This
you. And
is
I,
this is the first time I've done it. I'm just now spreading my wings on social media, and I don't. If I don't reach anybody, oh well. I mean, at least
me
I'm
neither.
doing it.
No,
And if
yeah,
somebody
I
wants to
have
AI
over.
me, they better fucking do me justice.
Well, I quit for 5 years. I quit for 5 years, but I could even do a stupid show back then and get hundreds of views, and a lot of them have thousands, three,
Yeah.
4,000 people that have watched. But there's more people in the game, and I well, I'm not an idiot, but I would encourage people. I said, hey, you've got a
Right.
voice. You get out there and do your show.
Mhm.
You do that. You create your own group after I created all these groups.
I
So,
know I've been encouraged quite a bit lately to do
yeah,
something, and
yeah,
it's
just
like
okay.
I've spent so much time in my inner universe that and waiting for my manifestations to come to me, and they haven't, and that's been one of my
Right.
things that I've had to get over, because I've been a healer, going,
I'm
God, when am I
surprised,
gonna get what I deserve?
but you know what though, hon? I'm surprised you don't have one like page though. Like, I mean, you don't do that, but I'm surprised that you don't have like one page on Facebook. They're easy to create. Takes 2 minutes. I've created hundreds of them for people. You know what I mean? You
I
can either
know.
use your name or your business name, but I want to make you one suggestion if you ever go down there. Please listen to this. Whatever you decide to use as a name, right? Use your name, but if you pick another company name to use, like such and such, such, whatever you want to pick, right? Use that for everywhere you go. Whether then when you get an account on, Instagram, or you got on Instagram, but I mean like all the other ones that you would need if you were going to go that route, like WhatsApp, like Tumblr, like Twitch.
Yeah, see, I don't. I'm totally technological illiterate. I don't do any of the fucking. I don't like platforms. I think they're number one. I'm very sensitive. I'm totally in my emotional body. That's the whole point of a heart chakra worker.
It's hard for
Um,
Arcturian in you to mess with that
yeah,
on your.
dealing with energies like I mean I'm not no better than anybody else, but I mean I've been through quite the ordeal, and one of my gifts is being emotionally intelligent, and I'm still working on that, man. I'm okay with that because
Well,
you can't
yeah,
energies like I said, energies are so wonky that if you don't know how to read them, then I mean you're just gonna have to have a guide in these times
you
and
know,
age.
I'll tell you what you just brought up in my mind. The girl was asking me for some advice not too long ago. We were talking. She said, I can't stand these people that they just, they're so sensitive to everything and they just don't want to, they don't want to have to experience and deal with their own
Hmm.
stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know what, hon, I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to say, first, before I chew your ass, I'm going to say, first of all, you're right. There are a lot of people like that, but I'm going to tell you right now, there are a select few, and you're one of them. And it's like that you just can't, that vibration just fucks with you too much. You can't, it isn't a matter of you not being, it's not a matter of you being afraid to tackle it. It's just, you know, it
I have a
messes.
dramatic energy. I have a flamboyant
Yeah,
energy. I have
that's
a
what I
very,
told her.
ugh.
I
And
said,
that's what I'm
hon,
saying. I was like, a lot of people were not ready for my energies.
right?
Okay. And I
Nope.
understood that. I had to understand that. I had to come to that realization,
Well,
and I mean,
it's
I am legit straight from the catacombs of 888. Those are my numbers. Those are my life
yeah.
path numbers.
When you're a
Yes,
12 and a
I've
third,
coded.
when you're a 12 and a 13th dimensional being like that, I'm just using that as a reference point. There's dimensions go way up, but
Maybe I
that
don't
12 and
really know. I know
13,
I'm a multidimensional being. I've
well,
understood that and I've
your
witnessed it myself. Very
your traits
wonderful.
are like that. Your traits are like that because
Hmm.
you're ascended that high, and those vibrations will mess with you more than it would a
Right.
Pleiadian, the star realm.
Well,
I teach
see,
class.
I
Star
learned
realms
mine
and
in a
angel realms.
way different. Yeah, I learned mine in a way different way. Okay, that's one of the reasons. Number one, why I can handle it. Number two,
Mm-hmm.
I've been very, and I've had to train my own self to go through a lot of certain very boisterous energies that I thought were the ones when people first wake up, they think they die and they need an ambulance.
You know, yeah, hey, I got to ask you a question on a side note. I've met
Sure.
like my former co-host is like you. What you're just saying there, the only other one I've ever met, Raquel. Now she's the only walk-in I've ever met. Have you ever had any dealings with any walk-ins or considered that? She's the only pure one I've ever met.
As a
Yeah,
matter of
she's
fact, I accept walk-ins. And my home, my business is based in mostly wanderers and walk-ins.
mm-hmm.
And they know that they can come if they've wandered, they timeline jumped, they dimension hopped. They know they can come to Angels and get a meal, a couch to sleep on, and a hot shower.
Can I put you on the spot? Can you, in your own words, describe a difference between a wanderer and a walk-in? Um, Probably it's fine. It's not much, is it?
Um, actually, hold on a second, because I'm not going to do this any injustice whatsoever. You done opened a can of walk-ins.
I thought so. Yeah, I had trouble with it the other night.
Basically, how I view walk-ins is um, they're souls that need to come and do lessons. Okay, they still have lessons to learn here on Earth, and then there's the body, the soul in the body, and that person doesn't want to go on anymore. Okay, and uh, they can request to have a walk-in instead of dying like a natural death and what have you. That's a request. It can happen. Um, and then they come in that obviously the other way as well. Like I said, it's a dimensional thing. If you just imagine your essence following behind you,
Yeah, it's funny. I already
does
knew
that
all
make
that.
sense?
I went through that with
Right.
her. Okay, that's
Okay.
exactly what she
So
said.
if
Okay.
anybody, yeah, if anybody knows anything about that, okay. So when you think about the interruption of the DNA structure, you think about the interruption of whatever when it was stopped. Okay, that's where your wanderers started because they got stuck in dimensions they didn't ask to be stuck in. They didn't realize they were. Also wanderers, they wander the suicide realms, um, which the suicide realms are not even existent anymore. They're the ones that ascended out of the hell. That's what hell was, by the way. Suicide realms. Nobody knew that.
No, I
But
haven't. I hadn't heard it. I'm gonna have to get you on that again. I hadn't heard it broke down that way.
right,
That's yeah, okay.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, trust me, I do know them. I do know all that. But regardless of that, when you walk into a body, it's like when you're born. Okay, when a baby's born, a soul incarnates into that body. Okay, but as soon as it's in body, he then it walks out. It's like walk it out, what have you.
Oh wow, go
Um,
keep going. Yeah, go with it.
it's the spirit. It's like I said, it's the spirit walking in, if that makes sense. Okay, you're getting either a pass from the other side to come to the physical world. You are getting, a second chance at, you know what I'm saying? It's like because people don't realize you died if you have a near death experience and what have you. Death is an illusion. Okay, and let me tell you something. I've realized that illusion can be a gift. Yeah, and that's something that a lot of people don't think about. Because we grew up in these days and age of illusions. You know, pull the
Yeah,
wool over our eyes. But
right.
I've come to learn that the reason why we have illusions like we do is because people aren't ready for the truth yet. They have to go through certain parts of things, myself included. And that's one of the reasons why I appreciate them. I don't like them, but I appreciate them, if that makes sense. I know they're there for reasons and what have you, and myself included. Okay, everything's a. I see
What are you doing?
you.
Little light language this morning there? Yeah, yeah. That's a hot topic now, isn't it? Light language, boy.
Well, regardless, like I said, wonders are more the ones that are waiting for passage into the real world again, or into the physical world.
Okay.
And a lot of them choose to stay that way because they walk the halls of Amente. They come from tall Nigga Hermes Emerald Trismegistus.
So
Okay.
hey, so what a way to break that down. You were talking about the walking. Like, okay, say we were a
hmm
team and I had it and I was tapped out and I need to tag you in the corner. I mean, is that what you would do? Is you come relieve me, basically? If I said, look, if I said, Angelique, I can't handle it anymore. Can you come in and take over for me?
I have no idea on that aspect, honestly.
But it
I
sounded
don't.
kind of like something like that, though. Like
Um,
you leave and another soul comes in, right?
well, I'll tell you the reason why I say and I do know about it, but I
Mhm.
don't know it like that. Okay, I don't
Okay.
I don't see it in that way. I mean, because I see spirit in a way different way in the physical and
Right.
the spiritual realm. So
But
as
you
far as like
mentioned,
tapping in, like I could sit down. Have you ever seen that movie Midnight Gospel or show Midnight Gospel? It's on Netflix.
no, I
Um,
have. Yeah.
but anyway, you should watch it. It's animated. And I had just given I was in the middle of a session with somebody and I was, teaching them their spiritual path and because I was their guide. And I was going over this, that, and the other thing and blah blah blah. And and as I was doing that, that was actually the first time I was revealed about the whole situation of like the spiritual or the physical, like click, click, click,
Yeah.
like going up an escalator.
Right. No, it just I must have misunderstood you. Then when you were describing the walk-in, you were saying like somebody comes in and replaces that soul, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I kind of like
yeah.
that. So you're
hmm
just not sure about the minutia of how it goes down, as far as hey man, I need help or
I mean, I do know, but I don't. I know that like if a soul is in trouble, like if they like myself, I'll even say it myself. I know I myself have probably had tons of walk-ins, but most of them have been like entities and stuff like that because of the work that I do. Okay, they don't understand. They can see on the outside all fucking day long, but when they jump in and they realize they're like, I'm like, "Zoop, zoop, keep your arms and legs inside the ride."
yeah, and
And then,
you're totally almost cleansed. And I have this verified. She wouldn't mind me saying this, but do you realize when she had that walk-in come in, Raquel, she was done with shooting heroin in a day. You don't quit a
oh
drug like
yeah,
that. You don't.
oh yeah.
Miracle.
Trust me, I do know that they are very a lot of them that come in,
Yeah.
obviously. They're part of the same soul tribes, of course, if not the same monad. Usually, and it's usually they're swapping to learn lessons. So it's usually parallel lives or a multidimensional beings. Usually the walk-ins that accompany the new meat suit. That's what they call it now. That's one of the things that they would call it is the meat suit, which drives me nuts. But I had to throw it out there. I'm crazy. But the vessel.
What's it
It
called
reminds.
again? I'm sorry. What's it
I,
called?
I, a lot of people call it the meat suit.
Meat suit.
The human.
Huh, that must be a Midwestern thing.
I would be like, I wonder if the walking comes in and be like, tell me, does this meat suit make my butt look big?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I can see what you're getting at now. Yeah, right. You see how
Yeah,
they're
it's
going to
like
look
the walking
pretty.
it's getting used to its new skin.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
Fortnite where they have to buy new skins for their what have yous. That's the same
They're
as
going to have to
walking.
function in
It's a
3D.
soul
Yeah,
getting in the
yeah.
it's a soul getting an etheric body.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe it's like
Mhm.
that too, because there's that adjustment period.
Yeah,
Even if you've been it a million times before, it's still a trip to go
yeah.
back.
Absolutely. Especially if you have already passed near-death experiences and you've already gotten
Mm-hmm.
comfortable and whatever. I mean, like I said, it can go really, really deep on that aspect, and because a lot of that shit comes from fallen angels
Mm-hmm.
and whatever. And this is why ain't nobody can bitch about nothing. We are all God and Satan. We all angels and
Yeah.
demons. We've all been there, done that. We've all had to do this job a million and one times all together and then some
Mm-hmm.
because there
And
just hasn't been
more
that
and more and more.
much
Right?
left. Huh?
Yeah, we're all, yeah, at the end of the day, we're all one. We awake. Imagine we all
Yes.
woken up in the morning and, hey, I'm you, you're me. Oh, we're God. Oh, well, we're the same
That's
thing.
that's freaky. That's Freaky Friday.
Yeah, I got to watch that again. I was thinking about that the other day. The original, though, 77, the original one. You probably liked the remake they had of it, right? Maybe. This is Larry Locken. We are having technical difficulties. You're tuned into the Larry Locken 3 channel at the Arcturian Crystal Blue Angels slash YouTube. The Arcturian Crystal Blue Angels of the 13th Dimension also have a Facebook page and a Facebook group. Now, that particular channel is shared with the Arcturian Translucent Color Realms of the 12th Dimension, all right? They have, not all, most of them just have pages, but they also have their own group and they have their own pages. But, Arcturians, you got to treat them right and roll out the red carpet. It's nice that they were willing to, the two collectors are willing to share a YouTube channel together. Yeah. But it'd be a good problem to have if I had to add another, or take one of the Palladian ones away, because that would mean they were channeling constantly nonstop. Yeah, so, and they do basically, if nobody's listened to them before, they try to do two channelings each a week by themselves, and then they didn't this week though. They usually, seriously, they hit me up for a joint channeling. And the translucent color realms are trippy. I've only been channeling them about 6 months, but here's the weird thing. They came to me one other time once with one of my collectors, the Aqua Rays. This is back in 2015, I think. Late 14 or 15, and they gave me their name, but they didn't ask what star. They didn't tell me what star system they were from, and I didn't ask. And they were with the Aqua Rays, a collective. It's now 9 dimensional. It was 8 when I was channeling them. The Aqua Rays are really cool. Now the thing about the Aqua Rays, though, is they're the only collective I've ever channeled that switched staff on me. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? Oh yeah. The translucent green and the translucent blue. They were the two colors. It's a collective of all kinds of souls. They left and they went to your translucent color realms in the 12th dimension. I've said that's weird because the only other collective I've ever heard that jumped from 8 to 12 was the avians. You guys ever heard my story about the blue avians before? About how so I was still working for N5D. We never recorded good, if you know who he is. David, Dave Wilcock brought him along, and we were talking before the show, and I'm like, man, have you heard of those blue avians? He's all, no, and we're looking into them, and then I showed him my orbs and or a video I'd taken of them, but somebody came to me, and this is where I was at a crossroads where if I could, I almost not everybody's good. And I was a lot more articulate back then, lost a lot of game. I have to practice now. I was, really in the zone back then. Spirit blessed me. But somebody came to me and asked me if I wanted to channel the Blue Avians. Nobody really had yet. There's grumblings about them, right? But nobody had. And they said, you want to channel them? And I'm like, man. They hit me at the worst time possible. I had already had the orbs going on. I had the show I was going on doing all the time, and I'm still working and doing stuff for N5D. And I'm like, oh, man, I don't know. And then I tried to talk myself out of it by saying, they're cute little guys, and I'm sure they're lovable, but do you think everybody's ready for birds? Like that, bird aliens? And, so I just got kind of arrogant about it. I'm like, even though I'm a blue freak. It was weird. They hit me at the way. It must have not meant to be, because any other time, I probably would have said, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And I don't channel them directly because I have too much respect for Corey and for Octavia. Okay, hey, I gave my chance away. I do channel them though on this though. They're part of one. I have like 20 collectives. I have a co-op collective called the Blue World Order. And the Avians were funny enough to actually name that one. So I've dealt with them on that level and a few questions here and there, but it's been when they've been with other collectives too. I've never channeled them directly and put it out there like that, and I wouldn't. Well, I would. Okay, let's say some weird scenario where her or Corey asked me to do it, or the Avians came into me and were real insistent about it. Yeah, I'd take it down, and then I'd explain to her, because she's worked really hard, with that, and I'm not gonna go in and jump on her, go and get in her territory like that. But see, I'm on the opposite end of that, because listen, guys, I've got all these collectives, and I ran them down the other night on a show. They are always asking me to, tell people that, hey, we're available if you need guides. And I've got all kinds of them, man. And they're good. They're solid. Most of them I had for a long time. And the ones that I've got recently, they're harmless. I mean, they're great. They're not anything weird or scary. I don't have any of them that are weird or scary. I have one that is kind of a little bit, he just came into my realm. He's called the Blue Rider. But it reminds me of me in another form. It's weird. He's very mysterious. Very mysterious. And it's weird. And he channeled me. And of all things, people, this is crazy shit. You couldn't make it up. He places a galactic phone call to the Ashtar command. I'm like, what the hell are you doing calling them, man? I'm like, what are you doing? He was trying to get some information and confirmation when some of our orbs up here struck some of those Cabal drones down. And so he was trying to get word from, Brillion, he was a commander up there. And I said, man, I don't deal with my uncle too much. And I'll leave it at that. And we had a good time a month before I incarnated here in 75, but I don't know. It's probably my fault a little bit too, but I just feel like he's got an ego, and he always everything's got to be his way. And yeah, it's personal. That's why I don't talk to people about the Ashtar command, because it's kind of I don't like people getting caught up in the cult type of mentality. But I'm not saying they are, but it's personal with him. It's very personal, and that's the truth. Yeah, and so yeah, I don't know, but I don't know what the hell happened to the guest. See, this is how easy it is. It's late. I got sidetracked. But this is how I cut my teeth, basically. Yes, I've interviewed a few big name people you probably heard of, okay, back in the day. That's, the big deal. Okay, I know, I never got my money shot, which was Eric Von Donick, and he's still out trying there. I had a guy named Jordan Maxwell. He's not somebody Arcturians probably think about. He was important in his own way. I'm not going to get into it. If you're a really strict Arcturian soul, you really don't need to know who he is. Yeah, you would. Oh, hey, are you still there, my man? Oh, my eyes are so bad, dude. I'm like, you're. Dude, I feel like an idiot here. Master Light. I like that name, bro. I like it. Or maybe you're not. I didn't mean to assume that. Sometimes I can't tell. I feel like. Well, I can't see your icon. Master Light. Man, I don't know. You know what? And I'm humble enough to know when I don't know. I can't tell your energy for sure one way or the other. Yeah. Did you see I was about to be quite completely honest with you? I was about 55, 60, 40 on it. And I'm like, But the divine feminine is so strong now too. It's not to pull you down, dude, at all. It's actually a good thing. It's so strong that I thought maybe one of them was actually stepping into that kind of a light. Yeah, okay, so can I sit here and tell you? But we ain't got nothing else to do. I'll tell you who all dude, I've got 5 others that they're saddling me with, and I haven't even met them yet. There's 5 more coming. I just got one tonight. Listen, do you know about of course, you've been around the game a while. You know about, of course, the Blu-rays and the Indigos. Blu-rays first, and the Indigos come in, right? Dude, I was always wondering, okay, there's just, time is not relevant because they cross over a little bit, but structure-wise, the Indigos really didn't flood in here till 81. By the time 76 was over, though, the Blu-rays were kind of slowing down and stopping. You had this 4-year lull, and I couldn't figure it out. Man, it came to me tonight. There's a generation, they're not a generation, it's only over about a 4-year period. It's not one of the long ones like the rainbows or crystals, indigos or Blu-rays for 20 years. These guys are called the Periwinkle. They want to be called the Periwinkle Kids, or you can call them the Periwinkle Rays. But I was guided to get pictures of them. I'm going to go with it at some point. But they were born, get this, man, they were born January 77 or the first, New Year's Day through like the last, till New Year's Day of 81, for the most part. Of course, we know that those things skip, and, you have Blu-rays that grew up in the Indigo generation. You have Indigos that were ahead of the time and grew up in the Blu-ray generation. I've met them. But the rule of thumb, it's like when I'm teaching men about dimensions, dude, you and I know they're endless, right? There's endless ones within them. But if I'm teaching a structure class like this, 3rd and 4th, we know. Once you get out of the 4th, I say, hey, there ain't much difference. The 4th is more of a reactive, so they're responsive instead of reactive. They're more of an empathetic instead of sympathetic. They're more about living in the now moment and just philosophy. Basically, they're the same. You get into the 5th dimension, you start getting into a light body. And so I explained to them about the 5. I say, first of all, let me tell you something. The 5th through the 10th dimension, those are star realms. Those are star realms. And once you get into that 11, 12, and 13, you're in pre-angelic realms. Once you get out of the 13th, that's when the fun really starts, because you're really out of here and you go into the 14th, and then shit really starts for you. And, you go up to 144 dimensions, endless ones. But to keep it basic, and I think Starseed University should exist like that. Wouldn't that be cool? Telekinesis, Reiki. I know they do it because these girls I channel out of the Pleiades all went to school together in Zerata, a city in the planet called Era. Yeah, man, seriously. And I thought they were screwing with me. One after another would contact me, and finally one said, we all know each other, right? The Blue Flame told me. I'm like, no, I didn't. Oh, yeah, we know about you. And so I still have one more of them to meet. Let's see, I've channeled them all on audio, except the 2 of them that I channeled wasn't on audio, but I did. And then I've got one I haven't met yet. She isn't from the cluster like they are. She lives in, she's in the 7th dimension of Venus in Venusia. She's a Venusian plating, but she's an admiral of their protected Navy fleet. The rest of the girls are goddesses. Dude, you go to school up there to be a goddess or to be a Reiki master on their level. Of course, they're born knowing the shit that we do, the basics to them. But you go to college, dude, seriously, I couldn't believe it. You go to school it's like getting a PhD to become a goddess. Seriously. Yeah, exactly. And dude, there's probably places where you got, hey, it's spirit's funny. You probably have to go to college some places to be an archangel too. Yeah, man. They take it seriously because, dude, see, they're already born knowing the trigonometry. Take all that crap, right? All the trig, this biology and shit. They're already known doing it. Here's what really blew my fucking mind a few months ago when I first had those dreams. See, I channeled about 500 times, but I've never had one in a dream except for twice, and it was with the pink and the purple collective. I got to meet a collective of humans that looked like every color of the goddamn rainbow, except I didn't see orange or red. But every other color, man, and 2 blues to boot. But this girl told me, what this girl told me? This pink girl, Fusacia, she told me that she knew about Earth humans. I asked her, you know about us? I know your governments do to you. She's like, yeah. She's like, I used to be, as a kid, I was so into finding out about humans all over the universe, and I would go into deep meditation and deep sleep, and I had a gadget that I even tried to tune in stuff all around the galaxy. And she was busy looking for other humans like her. And she told me that, and I'm like, wow. And then I got thinking this, man, on a funny note. I got to think, dude, if this shit ain't real, man, I don't know why in the hell I'm not at least documenting all this and going to Hollywood and writing scripts. Man, it's crazy though. Isn't it crazy? And then could you imagine like it moving to a point where like that then you get closer, closer, and you physically meet these people after you've been messing around with them in a dream like that? Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, bro. I bet it is, dude. I bet it is fucking just. It is. It's epic, man. And it's real too. It's weird. It's real, and I don't know if a lot of people are ready for that. You know what? Maybe this is me, and I don't. And the next generation, these kids that are. I'm 50, man. But these indigo kids are a little more refined. They're not as street smart on the earth sense as I was, and I was a gangbanger, but I was a cop too afterward. And they're more cosmic, and then it gets to then the next generation that came along, and the next one, and the next one. It just goes and goes and goes. But I tell some of these people that haven't had a contact yet, you know, like you have with the Archangel Michael. I've told them, and I don't know what if you disagree with this or not, but I've told them that look, it's great. This is a wonderful thing in your life that you're going to meet him, but you need to understand. I say this, and I'm not trying to scare him. I say your life will never be the same again. It'll never, ever, 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 ever be the same again. I don't go gag, you know, I don't go scaring him like that, like an 1980s drug commercial. But I say you got to just understand. Okay, things will be, and then it's your choice. Once you have that meeting, you don't be. Please don't make the mistake I made and go shout it from the rooftop and ask people what they're seeing. The same thing I am in the sky. You know, because that's what I did, man. I looked like a fool. You know, yeah, you know, it doesn't matter whether I was right or they were wrong. They weren't ready to hear it, obviously, or ready to see it. But I wish I could have. It wasn't like me to get all tripped out like that, man, because I've seen a lot of shit in life, working and being in a gang and being a cop too. And so I don't know, but I don't call when I had those ET contacts, you'll hear me say my awakening. I'm referring to that. I was already awoke before that. I was already well aware of everything. I worked in politics high up, 2 presidents a little while before they were president. So, and I already knew it before then. So I was already awake to the bullshit about Earth. And I knew UFOs existed, but it's weird. I just didn't give them a lot of thought. You know, and then of course I'd listen to shit in the 90s, Sky Art Bell at night sometimes. But I was more into politics back then. You know, it was different. But I'd pick him up too, you know, sometimes. And I just never really, I never heard the word Pleiadian until the night before, no, 2 nights before I had my first contact. And it was so weird. Here's the deal, man. It was Christmas, 2010. I was married at the time. The one that divorced me because of my awakening. Anyway, so her mom was in town. You know, and my kids, I had my kids at the time, but my kids were over at their mom's. It was Christmas. They're all grown now. My youngest is going to be 22 next month. But we were going to watch a movie. Then we were going to play some Monopoly and kind of like have popcorn and like stay up late, right, real late. About 8:30, 9 o'clock, I got the worst migraine you could ever fucking imagine, okay? Now follow me here. And I'm like, man, this hurts. I took some Imitrex, about another hour went by. I'm like, babe, I can't. And even her mom was concerned, you know, she was a good lady. And you can go lay down, and I did. So got all comfortable, you know, I turned on my radio station. I used to listen to this station called KGO out of San Francisco, California. It's 500 miles down the coast from me in Oregon. But dude, late at night on the AM radio, and not so much anymore because there's too much shit in the sky, but you used to be able to pick up fucking ever when the sun went down because it bounced off the ionosphere, the AM radio. FM would. FM's clear, but it isn't, you know, nighttime isn't going to help you get it any better. So the station was out. And they did that about once a year to repair shit. The station was out. I'm like, fuck. I started turning the dial. And all of a sudden, I don't know, it was definitely coast to coast. I came on. I mean, you know, what the hell else is on that late on 25 stations? And, you know, it wasn't Nori or anybody in particular. It was some guest host. And they were talking about that thing with, I don't know if you know the story. It was Eisenhower and the weaponry and shit like that. You know, that we sold, we let them do certain things to our public in exchange for technology and weapons. The Pleiadians made us an offer too, but they wanted us and the Russians to get rid of the nuclear weapons. Yeah, they wanted, I think, I don't know if Khrushchev was in charge still at the time or if it was Stalin still. It was right on that kind of cusp. I'm a Russian history buff. But I don't know that year 46. Man, it could be either or. It was Khrushchev or Stalin that was still in charge when this meeting went down. But yeah, the Russians didn't want to go. They were no-go too. And we were like, no, we're going to get rid of our nukes. I guess a third party come in that looked like the Pleiadians that offered They offered to let both countries keep something, not much, but something. Now they went with the Greys, man. They went with the Greys and that dirty technology. I'll tell you, that's what happens, folks. You get a group like the Pleiadians, Arcturians, things like that, the Archangels. They're so ascended in the mind, but yet they still build the technical equipment part of it, but it's built through consciousness, not hurting the environment, right? So you get this supertronic, high-tech, mass consciousness with mass brilliance building. It'd be like Archangel Michael and Tesla got together and collaborated and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, I know that you do. I know, bro. I know. And you know what? I really get hesitant on going there because, and I could if you want me to. I understand America and their crusade, my country and their crusades and how we've gone war after war after war. If we're not in a war, we're gearing up to have another one. Okay, fine. The Russians are a little odd. I studied their history, man, and you know what? Some of it was really. It's not so much, yeah, you hear the stories about people being killed and threatened and thrown in the gulag over it. Of course, that's true. But what got me when I was studying their propaganda real close for hours on end in the school, I was thinking, man, the innuendos in there. The innuendos, like, be careful, just simple shit, like posters that would say, be careful who you're talking to on the phone, or when you're traveling abroad, be careful what you talk about what goes on in your country. Just be careful. We love you. We care for you. We're all building this big supertronic society together. Oh, we love you so much. And then I'd watch the propaganda against America, dude, and it was kind of right. It would show how, people could they had a job, go get credit, go buy all this shit, a stereo back then and all that, and have it in their house and be living the good life. And then they couldn't pay the bills and it got taken away. The Russians were really good at deflect. I'm not going to say one party does it here in the United States in politics, but I'm not going to go into that. But one party accuses the hell out of the other party of being the deep state and all this and the Illuminati. And really, maybe not now, but historically, that party's been nothing but, obstructionists, really, stock shit. I mean, if they would have had power, African Americans wouldn't be voting until the 90s, and I promise you. It wouldn't happen, but that's neither here nor there. The Russians are a whole different breed. And you can say what you want about any of our presidents or whatever, but when I look in the eyes of the leader of Russia, man, just because it's in its nature, man. It's in his nature to be a stone cold killer. I'm not calling him that per se, but, working the KGB, that's just their culture over there. It's dangerous, man. I mean, they don't have to play, at least over here, the crazy Illuminati forces shit. They have a little bit of rules to play by, so you can buy yourself maybe a half hour more. If you're in trouble here, I mean, at least you're gonna get your 15 minutes of fame if you go down over here. Canada's so gentle, but they'd be the perfect country to have that happen on those long. Oh man, I'd love to live there in Saskatchewan. Or my starseed counselor, she lives out of Calgary, and yeah, I feel like they're my star sisters. Totally, I've got several in Canada. One in Regina, I mean, that's kind of cool. I got one in Saskatchewan, but that's a long stretch, those highways up there, and, I'm getting off on all this shit. But my buddy used to work for the FBI, and my cousin Lori was a secretary at the Portland, Oregon branch. But, we were talking one day, and it came up, he's like, did you hear Coast to Coast the other night where there's serial killer truck drivers? And I said, yeah, dude, that was weird, man. That's weird. And he said, yeah, listen, he's right. We've got about 200 of them profiled across the country. And he prefaced it like they did on there too. He said, I want you to know that truck drivers are the most gentle. I mean, they're the best, give you the shirt off their back guys you could ever imagine, 99 point something percent of them. They're the biggest family men, really. Help people. But he said, there's about 200 people that are serial killers. And what has to happen, though, you can't work for a company because, you'll have a logbook tracking you. You can't, you have to be a complete independent trucker to be able to get away with not carrying you have to do some of it like a logbook, but you don't need the GPS and shit, right? So there's no way to track you. So you have to fit under that and practically live off the grid. And I could see where a person could do that. You're making enough money, you got a cell phone, TV, your computer, and your sleeper. And yeah, man, and Canada and the US are huge. I mean, you get lost here I can't think of it. It's scary, though. But yeah, that was true. And what they did was they prey on people that were like old and by themselves. Not really anybody, more than two people with them. Usually they would never fuck around. It was somebody who was really like, a lady who couldn't fight back, or an old man. to where there wouldn't be a problem. And what was weird, though, dude, is they were leaving their cars. They didn't take the car or anything and any of their stuff. They directed them somewhere onto an on-ramp. The car was found at the on-ramp and find shape all these cases. And what are they doing with them? Are they trafficking them? What are they doing? I don't know. Anything you could possibly think of is true, bro. Now I'm going to read some of your messages. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get you on. I'm Larry Locken, by the way, on Facebook. I don't know who you are, bro, but let's get you on there. And you know what? This is how hard it is to get on there. I send you a link and you click and you're in the room. The problem is now is that I can't. Okay, she left. No, I didn't copy the link. You interested in, if you're still hearing me, man, you interested in going online or going on, like sometime soon, like maybe even later today? I need to catch a little rest, man. I'm burning the midnight oil. I used to have help with people distributing all this shit, but all the groups, and I remember when it was just Twitter and Facebook. And Facebook, you couldn't even go live. Twitter was nothing but an arguing cesspool for middle-aged guys to, give one-liners and shit. That's all that was for a while. Still ran things through YouTube, although it was different. We ran it through Google Hangout through YouTube. Some of it I liked better, some of it I didn't on the features, but yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. But Master Light, yeah. And dude, I won't dominate this conversation with you. Oh, do I have Instagram? Oh, but bro, I gotta tell you something. Hey, you're in luck. Not only do I have Instagram, I have Telegram. I go buy a gram. I have, a Candy Ram. And then I have, not only do I have Telegram, right, though, I have television. I have Tell-A-Lie. I have Tell-A-Friend. I have Tell I'm Going Crazy. I've got Twitter. I've got Shitter. I've got Twitch. I've got Tweak. Squack, Yak. I mean, yeah, all of it. The only ones I don't think I have are like, I just show about them. I don't have a SoundCloud right now, and I don't fuck with my Lincoln anymore. But I have like Spotify. I still can't figure out how to post some shit to Spotify, but whatever. Yeah, they're complex, and what's weird to me about all of them, dude, is even the crappiest one among them is like three problems from fixing to being really good. And what I don't understand is why they don't do it. I know that it might be a bandwidth thing, because one of the things I would want them to change is let you type more. Okay, but I'd want all of them to at least let you go on tape for an hour. Go on videotape or uplink it. That's weird, because like Threads and Blue Sky, they're like Coke, Pepsi. They're exactly about alike, okay? Deal with them a lot. And they've got okay energies to it. Blue Sky's not bad, their energy, really. Threads is kind of in the middle, but more better than good. Now, Lemonade is fucking weird. Yeah, I like Lemonade, I like Yellow, so, I got it. But what I don't understand is they don't let you can post a link to Threads, which you have Instagram, dude, you got Threads. And Blue Sky, you can post a link. Lemonade doesn't let you do it if it's more than a minute. And here's the deal. I got to have somebody hear this. Somebody, please, I'm making this plea call. If it's an algorithm or what. But there are a lot of women on there, and men too, but a lot of women that, hey, how do I look? Do I look good? And I'm wondering, these girls are good-looking young ladies. I have a my daughter, anybody younger than me, a couple years younger than me, I look at them like a little sister. If they're way younger, I look at them like a daughter. I feel like, it's like I told one girl who's a nurse to me, I said, sweetie, you are beautiful, but look, honey, I know you're only like 6 years younger than me and we're in our 40s, but I would feel like I was raping you, sweetie. I just can't. It's an energy thing. You're smarter than I am. I'm not saying that at all. It's not that I think I'm fucking, because you're a goddess, but I'm not, consciously I couldn't do that, okay? But I see these girls and sometimes I'll talk to them and I'll say, sweetie, you don't need to be doing that. You can, there's men, you can, I don't know, go to church if you have to go somewhere and meet a guy. You don't have to, you don't have to settle either. You don't have to do that. You're a divine goddess. You don't have to, you don't have to trade your love and goodness for the golden machine, girl. You really don't. You can have it both. You just, step into your power, but keep your arrogance in check. Yeah, but here's the thing. 15 times now, I've seen this sign that says, with a person's, picture of them that goes, I've been sober for 28 days, but nobody cares. I've been sober for 32 days, but nobody cares. And it's not just that, it's other little things too that people say. It's like, I get the impression some of this shit is, it's algorithm, or it's, AI. And then I think, yeah, but why would they do that though? to get people to, well, obviously that's a dumb question, to get people to look in. But it's got to be either that, it's either that, guys, when you guys listen, it's either that with me, or, man, I just haven't got out much lately. I'm going to be 50 next year, and maybe I just don't. I used to pride myself on knowing and respecting what the next generations are doing. Maybe I just don't know what the fuck time it is anymore. But, I mean, these women, and the thing is, though, is if they're really who they say they are in the picture, these aren't bad-looking ladies. I mean, they could find somebody to date at least and check it out. They don't have to, oh, nobody will talk to me. And this is, oh, that's another thing. Nobody will talk to me. Oh, nobody will talk to me. Yeah, I love you, man, too. I can feel your energy, brother, really, too. We got a connection, man. You might be my bigger brother that was in this angel realms, and I was just a hair short of getting out of the star realms because that bomb I hit Mars with after Atlantis Lemuria went down, and there were still some lizards on Mars, and I took a pot shot. Anyway, when I was the captain of a Pleiadian ship. But, yeah, I feel like some of these people are fake, and they mass produce them. And then I think, okay, computers can do that really quick, but if they're really going to go that route of wanting shit, then why don't they go ahead and fix those fucking issues, like let people download there? Dude, it doesn't, and I understand, dude, it could be ran by the evilest entity, it could be nothing, it could be in between, who knows? But I don't care about any of that, honestly, in my realm. What I'm getting at is the details. My grandmother always used to say the devil is in the details, and sometimes it really is, man. It's, it's like actions speak louder than words, Okay, yeah, fine. But then, you know what, also? Actions speak louder than words, and good intentions don't mean anything. Yeah, that's all fine until you've had a bunch of shit go wrong in your life, or you're dealing with depression and things come up and you mean well, and it doesn't give you an excuse to do it. It doesn't. I'm not saying that. But I think that if we were just aware of it, like if somebody's having trouble in their life and shit, you don't want to, waste all your energy on that, right? We know that. But if you could just be aware of it, don't dwell on it, but just be aware. I swear to God, man, if everybody on Earth, or most of us starseeds, if we just sat on a couch somewhere, didn't lift a goddamn finger, but we all in unison decided we were just going to become aware of it. We weren't going to give it our energy, but something really bad, like what's happening to animals. Dude, I don't know why, and I'm trying to fight my guides on this, dude. We've never snapped at each other, but lately things are tense. And even the orb goddess flipped out on me on a radio show. She told me to keep up, and it came right through her mouth. So, Larry, keep up. Yeah, but they're like, dude, you gotta start talking about that pet issue a little bit. Earth's ascending, but you still got some people that are screwing with the dogs, the animals, and I'm like, man, I know, but, and I want to be the first to say it, but I don't want to just be looked at like some idiot that's out there crusading, because I've got a mission too, and then I had the dog on, I had the blue dog on for Pleiades, channeled him, and that was so emotional. That's a 17 minutes, it's on one of my channels, I'll never listen to it again. I fucking bawled on the air, what he told me and stuff, and man, it was good. He told me that our love for him helped him. He was way conscious more than us and all that, and more aware with his senses. And I mean, we would have our brains blown up. We'd die if we were told for 5 minutes we've got to have a cat and a dog's senses at their highest, and it just hit us, dude. We'd fry our brain. But what he said was that what we teach them by loving them and bringing them into their homes is that we teach them to be aware of themselves. And I'm like, what? He's all, yeah, he talked to me like that. He's all, yeah. He's all, yes. It teaches us of our awareness of ourselves, that we can be loved and that we are a human. We're not just aware of the outside world around us. It teaches us to go in and look at us. I thought that was kind of odd, man. No, I mean, it sounds right, though. It does. It sounds right that that's the one thing we can give to them. Is teach them to be aware of themselves. And he said it's the same damn thing with a cat. He didn't say damn, but he said it was the same thing with a cat. So, yeah, bro. Yeah, I know. And, I think what holds a lot of people back from really realizing that, they know it, but they think, oh, God, look at how many people there are on Earth. Look how many. It really doesn't matter if there's 2 or 2 trillion. You're right. Nobody does. It's like this when we're all in unison. We're like 80 to 90% in lockstep on our own. Nobody pushing us to be that way. And then we have that 10 to 20% that makes us unique and needed to finish that puzzle, right? Because I've noticed that with true star seeds, man. Okay, the worst variance ever I've seen is about 80% only residents, right? Most times it's 90, 85 most time. It gets into 90 and even 95 sometimes, man. You still have that uniqueness to you, but yeah, it gets pretty, you're tuning into the radio stations. Here I'm gonna hit you. You're ascended. You're like, I'm gonna hit you with this other crackpot theory since I got you. You can't talk. What if you and I, a million years ago, several, like a billion, you and I were sitting around and we both got ourselves like, we had a game of The Sims, where you build a community and stuff. You had one, I had one. We both decided together because we were buddies, we were going to go ahead and see how each of us could do on our own. Okay, and first problem comes up, and it's easy. There's a TV. Well, of course, we can't be using the same TV at the same time, right? You can't use in the same dimensions or the same channel or subdimension. No, so we got to do our own thing if we're going to do it like that. So we build and build and build and build and build and build these communities. You got families doing their own thing, neighbors. These people living in there. They're living within it, and they were created by an intelligence. Okay, and it starts evolving. And then let's just say you and I one day we come out, we went for a walk, and we come back in the house, and we're like, don't mean to kiss, we're like, oh fuck it, we're done. Yeah, you'd be like, yeah, man, I'm tired of playing that. Yeah, so we don't play it anymore. But that life continues to go on. And then we had other buddies that were doing the same thing with the Sims game, right? And so there's other dimensions, and then you get these people within the game that are the families and shit like that. There's like, God, man, I just feel like somebody's out there that I don't know that's on my frequency. Is there? Wow, but there is, because you and I and the guys we hang out with, we got a lot in common. So we pretty much did the same shit with our game. We created, not exactly, but the town asshole, the doctor, whatever, right? Within reason. The families having the issues that they're having, and then that just materialized on its own, though. It's not like you and I created them to have issues. We could have been dickhead gods and did that. So what happens is, right, so just unintentionally, you and I really didn't do a whole hell of a lot to inform them of who they were and where they came from, right? We weren't thinking that. And so they're wondering. And then, it's like either they're on another planet, these other people, that they're trying to contact, or another dimension, right? So I don't know. That just, it all came to my mind in a few seconds. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. It sounds good, though. If the right writer could write it, it'd be a good Hollywood movie, huh? Yeah, man. I was exactly. Hey, yeah, I was wondering, when you said quantum entanglement, man, were you referring to like, um, that, okay, like getting caught in that dimension? Because, dude, I've been channeling the orbs for years, and this is really weird when this shift started this time. And I've had this happen years before, but not this intensely. I'd see beings come through my phone and smile, all that, and it was done. They didn't do it for years. Then this shift happened. It all came back to me after years. Dude, these orbs, I have an orb picture on two of my phones. One's the phone I just use for shit to do on videos and stuff. Look, man, there was a society on that thing, and they knew I was watching, and they were waving at me, dude. There was one night it looked like they were all out having drinks, dude, like a summer night, and they were like humans waving up at me. Yeah, dude, it was weird. I'm telling you, man, it's like the Procyon. I think I'm probably one of the only ones in the country or the planet that openly channels Procyon. I don't hear it talked about, but I know why that is, because they just got back in the game. They had a fucking million-year fuck up. They got their starseeds poisoned. That's something I wonder if ever happened to Earth. Their starseed batch was poisoned, and that's the difference between lightworkers and starseeds, y'all. There's not much after this. The lightworkers come right in and know where they're going. Starseeds have an option of a few places that they picked, and they're right. And so they have this, out of endless families, they've got their top three. They're more than likely going to get the number one choice, but so they get two or three, right? Well, Rigel was pissed off at Procyon, and Rigel dirtied their star pool. So Procyon's the one two-planet system of light and angelic that you can't, they do have a rule. You have to go through a hell of a, if you want to, when you're done here, if you want to go ahead and retire there and incarnate there to one of their two planets there, you have to go through a lot of shit, man. And they only allow 9% of their population to be Procyon, because they got burned, man. And here's what happened when that pool was tainted, right? Okay, yeah, so they incarnated in here fine. So they were shitheads as kids and like obstructionists. Then they become these, I don't know, council people or whatever that just try to throw a monkey wrench in everything, is what happened with the dirty starseeds. And I thought, oh man, God, I'm glad that's never happened to Earth. But then I got thinking about it, man. Yeah, maybe it has. Maybe it's not that they're lizards or anything like that, but a lot of these politicians that are high up and people that work for the, oh, I don't know. Here, let's go down the greatest hits list of the fucking Bilderberg group, the Illuminati, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, all the groups that have long since been dead, and there's even worse ones out there. Is the problem? It was like people talking about HARP the other day. The weather thing. I'm like, dude, that is so 2000s or 1990s. Yeah, HARP sucks, but HARP is nothing compared to what they got now. That was just a goddamn what do you call it? It was the precursor, right? I mean, so they get you distracted with that. It'd be like this, folks. I could come up to you finally and be cocky and say, you know what? I come in your store every other Friday. I steal one can of pop. I do. You're not gonna catch me. I'll take one can of pop forever from you. And so you come to terms with that. But really, what that dude's doing is having people go in like every day and take a half rack from you. So they're willing to admit that it got to the point where they're willing to admit that, hey, yeah, take a little here and there, but really they're taking you for a ride. So it's not always the man behind the curtain. Sometimes it's the man in front of you. Sometimes it's the man in front of you, not the man behind the curtain. And a lot of times people, when you hear this shit about the Illuminati and the Bilderberg group, and just all I would ask is consider who's saying it, okay? Oh, this shit's real, all right. You know who doesn't want a one world government? I'll tell you exactly who doesn't want a one world government. The one world government doesn't want one. Why? You say that might confuse you. Dude, look, it's one thing to control a planet. It's one, or I mean, no, excuse me. It's one thing to control a country, even a continent through military power like that. But dude, when you've got it stripped down to where the whole country is under one leader, or the whole planet, I mean, dude, I don't care if you take 1,000,000 people, give them every weapon on Earth to run the Earth, and 7 billion people with nothing left to lose. Dude, they don't want that. They don't want that. So it's double deception. Yeah, the one world government, believe me, they don't want a one world government like they're saying. I mean, and how, yeah, you can take over a country with military power, take over a continent. Dude, you'd have to be from out of here to take over a planet. Maybe that's what it would be, but you'd have to be. So, but why would you, if that's the case, why would you fight against it? You could just say, deceive. But they don't want that type of system. They want borders. They want nationalism. They want people to, be separated. And some people are cool with that and like their identity. I don't blame them. Well, whatever, they teach their own, man. But I mean, I'm just saying that our consciousness should move past that at some point, borders, and it isn't a good or bad thing. It'll just move on. Like marriage, marriage will actually be stronger because it'll be bonding situations with people who love each other and really intense. It's not going to be, it's not going to be this reality show where they're crying and going, oh, it was my day. I'll only have 3 or 4 more of them before I die. But I'm not trying to mock anybody, man. When you consider that you're entering into a situation that has over a 50% failure rate now, and society is changing, and if you can see the writing on the wall, I mean, eventually it's just going to kind of fade away. It's not going to be this big revolution. It'll just, die down, and people will do different other kind of agreements and bonding sessions with each other like the Palladians do. And those kind of relationships will be stronger. But yes, some of them will split up. That's how it goes. But more of those relationships, I think, will stick together than, of course, because only your average Joe Blow that's not enlightened is not going to go have some kind of a bonding situation, with a metaphysical teacher or with a, guru or your counselor. So, I don't know, man. All I know is that I like crystals, I like UFOs, I like nebulas. I'm in love with nebulas. I call them, they're not nebulas, they're creation manifestation centers. I love round silver UFOs. I like all that shit. I like pyramids. I love pyramids, man. You guys got all pyramids. I like, what else did I like? Oh, yeah, I like, I can't even think it now. It's really cool. It's blue. It's like a bowl. Yeah, Tibetan singing bowl, a blue one. Yeah. I saw a guy had a red one. I'm like, fuck that. I gotta get a blue one like that. So I went to the end of the earth to find it. Yeah, man. I like all that stuff. I'd like to have a page, man, with, I've created thousands of them. Not thousands, hundreds for people, and probably 30 for myself. I can do one. Like, if you need a page done, I'd do it for fun, just do it for you. All I would need is from a person. I say, look, I need a description for the group, paragraph or two, and I need 2 pictures from you. One for the banner and one for the timeline photo. And I'll have it done here in a few minutes. Oh, and the name, of course, would help. But the thing about pages anymore is, man, they don't come on they don't come on news feeds as easy as they used to. When I created them years ago. And of course, I lost my pages for a year and a half. Facebook took them away from me with copyright violation, wouldn't explain to me anything about it. And I couldn't get a hold of them. The guy, they were gone. About a year later, I'm like, yeah, they'll never come back. Well, I got a letter from them. Yeah, we have made a decision. And we agreed to release them back to you. They said some stupid shit like that after all that time. Yeah, and I don't know what it was. You can't get a hold of them. But I was content already with the fact that, all those pages I made, played in Express Productions, the Light Grid Project with 17,000 likes. The Syrian Egyptian connection, pyramid connection, the plasma, the 12th dimensional plasma, light beings, the first collective to ever be out of Pleiades in the 12th dimension. That I know of. I'm not saying it is. There might be somebody else that had it around the same time, and that just they haven't come forward. I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody else channeling Procyon too. Procyon's a trip. They're a green. Dude, they got a green side and a purple side. It's really strange, man. And he showed me Valance. You don't call him the captain of it. It's an orb ambassador ship. He is the residential coordinator. He's like, it's a housing development. It's weird. He said, look, I'm going to show you something right now that I shouldn't do. It kind of violates free will. I'm going to give you 2.5 seconds to look at something. I said, what? He said, I want you to close your eyes. I'm going to show you that orb ship that we're flying around in. I'm going to show you what people are doing up there. And it's going to be 2.5 seconds. I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it. And he did. And I looked and, took a quick look. And yeah, it was nothing exciting. Pretty boring stuff. A guy and a girl were sitting there. It looked like they were talking about a piece of paper or something. About 5 people at another table. I'm not sure they were having coffee up there, but they, had cups that they were sitting around drinking in. And then other people were walking down the road. There was absolutely fucking nothing going on. But, people getting along. I'm like, okay, yeah. He said, yeah, I'm not supposed to, that's a no-no kind of to do that, but I just want to give you an idea of what it looked like. And I said, well, man, I'm not going to tell you. And their ship blinks a blue. It blinks a violet blue, though. It's weird. I was going to channel them for the second time. We were all getting ready to go, and I looked outside for the first time that day. It wasn't like me. Look at Alcyone, and this light blinded me out of the side of my eye. And I looked over, and I'm like, man, Sirius isn't supposed to be there for another week. What's going on? I got Google Sky Map out. It was Procyon, man. And then it started flying around for me. I've got the video, everybody, seriously. But you just gotta watch, wait for a few minutes in. But oh yeah, it does like the pleading shit. Does dances and shit around me. And I'll tell you what would be weird. What would even be cooler than it being real is if it weren't real. I don't believe in coincidences, but see, this shit's so wild that the coincidences, the other side, the coincidences would be crazier than the truth. Really? Oh man, that'd be wild. If that were really the truth, that'd be wilder than meeting with UFOs. If all those synchronicities and everybody's alike, we're all 80% alike, same kind of stories growing up with family to, with at most 20% variance. Most of the time. And then that's the most marvelous coincidental thing that's ever happened in the goddamn galaxy. Really. I figure there's 10 million of us now that are in social media. But see, what I don't know, and I keep harping on this, I don't know how many are out there that I don't know because I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm sure there are a hell of a lot, though, that don't get on the internet, fuck the internet, they're doing their thing, for various reasons. Some because they're a little bit older and were new age back in the day, but, so there's a lot, but I have nothing I'm not the biggest world traveler, believe it or not. So I just don't know. I've got to drive, our metaphysical stuff keeps shutting down, opening. Yeah, you gotta go to sometimes a bigger area to find one. I had one planned to go, the Crystal Rainbow Metaphysical Healing Center. But I would love something like that, the living, loving, learning light, metaphysical UFO community church. The interdimensional, multidimensional, interterrestrial. Yeah, lightworker starseed. Yeah, and I had the rest down, but living, loving, learning light center and rainbow and all that good shit. Yeah, I love our cause. I love our community. I do. I'm a new ager to the I'm proud of it. I call it the blue age, though. It's not New Age deception, it's Blue Age reception. But, you know, we can all laugh and self-deprecate ourselves, too. You know, there was a time when people would get all fanatical channeling. I don't know if you know the Seth Materials. Is anybody? So a buddy of mine channeled him. Another guy we knew, too, who was actually on Coast to Coast channeling. Jane Roberts, this lady, used to channel him. And she would go into these fucking hysterics, man, when she channeled him. And he, you know, he was even telling my buddy, and look, I got a chance one time to talk to Seth. He's not one of my channels, but I'll tell you about that in a second. You know, he was telling me that, yeah, he would try to ask her if she could calm down. He said Seth's fear was that he couldn't really interfere with free will, but his fear was that she was going to make him look like a demon or something, because people already had the preconceived notions. And I was channeling real hardcore then, and I said to my buddy, and I even talked to that guy that was on Coast on the net, and I said, what do you think about, do you think Seth would give me one conversation? Why I'm not in his collective, or he's not one of my, I'm not under him, he's not one of my guides. I wonder if he'd take time, and they're both like, yeah, shit, he'd probably talk to you once. No, this is going to get into some Hollywood shit here, dude. Okay, so, yeah. So they got back to her, not the guy from Coast, but my buddy got back to him about a day later, and he said, hey, yeah, I talked to him. He was like, he's okay with that. He can answer a few questions for you. I'm like, okay, well, what? I mean, what are you gonna do? He said, why don't you, when your kids go to bed, why don't you just go to bed and just do like you can watch the stars out the window, and, if he comes in, he comes in. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Okay. Yeah, well, it was about 11:30 at night. The air got kind of, it was really kind of still. It was calming. It was kind of, like, you almost wanted to get an eerie feeling, but you couldn't. It was calming. And I, without even thinking, I said, is that you? And he said in the voice, I'll never forget, he said, yes. I said, hi. He said, hello. I said, hey, look, man, I appreciate you doing this and everything, but what I gotta know is, and I know this is petty, but I'm wondering, my thing with you is, and the way she acted, did you ever try to, like, tell her to get off the drugs? Or did you ever try to, do that? And he said, you have to, he said, you know as well as I do that I can't interfere with free will. I take it very seriously. And he emphasized that to me. It's one thing kind of raised his voice that he takes it very seriously, the free will. And then he was really calm and cool. But, yeah, I'm like, so were you afraid? I mean, were you worried about her? And he said, yes, I loved her. Of course I was worried about her. And I even did my best with, he said he tap danced around the issue to tell her in a way to back off of stuff like that, and that, calm down a little bit with hysterics. He knew she got excited when she channeled, but, she'd go into these hysterics. He's all, I don't want people, he was worried about people thinking he was a demon, with the people channeling like that. And I don't blame him, man. God, calm down, man. It's not exactly the Twilight's last gleaming. Yeah, so anyway, that's the only time I talked to him, but man, it was him, it was his energy, and it was like a bedside conversation, like an older brother sitting there talking to you for a minute, and his voice was very monotone, and yes, like very well thought out. It was like at the perfect tempo. If it would have been it could have been weird if it would have been any way in a different way, a little lower, a little higher. But yeah, he was really going, I don't know, that was pretty petty of me to ask him about somebody that was close to him that died, but I was just not awakened, but into UFOs, and I saw a lot of shit about her, a lot of misinformation, showing her all acting weird, and I think they tried to use her as a guinea pig, too, to make her look like she's the New Age movement was a cult, and the devil was going to come get you, and, and using her. You guys, I don't know if you know who Jane Roberts is, but they had the funniest, disinformation poster about her. It was a cover of a book, and it looks like she's flossing her teeth. I swear, people, I'm not crazy. It looks like she's flossing her teeth with barbed wire. Yeah. And they've even had that picture go around before and said Pleiadians on it. I mean, whatever. As far as I'm concerned, we don't got nothing to do with her. I mean, there's people in Pleiades that got ties with Seth, and maybe, everything evolves back around to that star cluster somehow. Even before it was another one. Yeah, these Pleiadians from Lyra, they're not the first Pleiadians. They're the ones that were here during Atlantis and shit, I know, but the ones that 1 billion years ago, no. That was the Antares Gateway bunch, or the Golden ones, whatever you want to call them. Those groups of families that came here to see the universe. And Arcturus first. I mean, people will debate about Arcturus and Lyra, which is first, and it's funny. I don't go there. If you want to think Lyra was first, fine, but they were pretty damn close. They're not, Arcturians didn't see them. They're like a little brother race. This other race did. That had every kind of human you could imagine: eagle, dog, cat, probably an iguana, who knows? And then humans, of course, of every skin color of the rainbow, and every goddamn mix you could find of a rainbow skin. Yeah, man. Oh, I wish I could. I need to start writing this down. Tell you what, man. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea, guys. I don't, and I probably sound like a fool, but whatever. I'm not getting paid for this. My time is come and gone where I could hit that window. But not. I'm not gonna blame her, my ex-wife. We don't want to do it anymore. And let's go live a nice 3D life and all that. And the funny thing is, she's the most ascended human being I've ever met in my life. Maybe the only 14th dimensional being here. But yet, there's something. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. She was afraid to take that extra step, and I think she wasn't afraid. It was like the vibration was too high for her. That happens for a lot of Arcturian divine feminine that are really highly ascended. Really, man, they can't really fuck around with a lot of stuff. The vibration's too low. Let's see. Okay. How long have I been on? I've been on 2. No. Yeah. I don't know. I don't exist in time. Hey, bro, I'm gonna read what you said. I think my glasses are screwed up here. Well, I was wondering if this day would come. I might even. You wouldn't believe what I'm trying to do here to read this. I thought so. Yeah, who are you, man? Who? Hey, that's what's out there. It doesn't start with J, does it? Yeah, brother, tell me. Yeah, man. That resonates what you just said, though. And you know what I'm talking about who you were, as far as that lineage like that. Yeah. They were one of the ones I met, too. And I also met a crystal blue Pleiadian bunch that were from another part. Yeah, but the blue ones, yeah, dude. Hey, they're cool fucking. They're cool. So good. Now I know good. Now I got an end. How much how much can I use you to get to the top? Use your wisdom. I'm thinking business strategy here on the shows. You know, Sometimes, man, once in a great while, if somebody was to come on, right, and lie and tell all that stuff, but it sounded good, there'd be times I'd rather almost have that than somebody come in and stammer and stutter and not be able to say anything. But I don't mean that. That's not true. But I'm just saying, sometimes, man, and look, anything you could possibly think of is true in some dimension, in some reality, because you wouldn't have been able to think about it if it wasn't. Really, think about it. It's like with AI, when AI is in the hands of like angels and stuff, man. All it is just a recreation of what actually happened, to the T. Right? When you have angels like that, they have that kind of technology and consciousness. Shit, they can still, probably at their level, they can just put their hand and show you, without a screen. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I had it happen with some orbs one time. This guy, his grandma was dying, and he was really into orbs too, and she got into him, and man, he created this picture that got 20,000 likes, and then he said, I don't know how to tell you this, guys, but that's artificial intelligence. I said, bro, it's okay. It's the one time it's okay. Everything you're showing here, I've seen these yellow orbs just like this. You must have got it through consciousness to help your grandma out. As she was dying, I wanted to see the orbs. Because you showed them exactly. It was the one goddamn time in my life, ever, that I saw something that was a replica. But it was, honestly, for that purpose and for everything, there was no difference. it served its purpose, and it looked like, I mean, this guy, I should have gotten in contact with him more, because I have an orbs page on Facebook. It's going to be 10 years old, by the way. I want everybody to give the round of applause for the Pleiadian and Angelic Rainbow Orb Collective. It's one of my pages. Yeah, it's almost at 6,000 likes. I had 4 taken away from me for some reason once. I think it's probably because that picture was... Anyway, so it'll be 10 years old on February 20th, or January 25th. It's going to be 10 years old. And I remember it was a pain in the ass. It was supposed to be done the day after Thanksgiving on that Friday. Okay, but it got rejected, and then, dude, it's one of them Facebook faux pas you run into, right, where it becomes just you can't explain it because it's never happened, and probably will never happen again just like that. This wouldn't work, that wouldn't work. I had to, I had to ask my ex-wife exactly what the hell the deal was with that, because it was, and then I couldn't get it on until January, but it doesn't matter. It'll be 10 years old. Just like most of the stuff turned this year, and then next year, the Arcturian page, the channel that we're on here now, yeah, that'll turn 10 too, because that was in February of 2015. But here's the deal, guys. There was only 3 shows on here the whole goddamn time. Until this 7 months ago, when I started getting a little active with Arcturian. There was 2 channelings I did on here in 2015, early summer, and right before that. And then there was the one of the greatest talk shows I've ever done, probably, with my host of Pleiadian Express Productions, Jane Hermstead. Her and I did one talk show on this channel. And that was the night that I left Jane sitting there talking. We had a good flow going. And I had to go, I had to go out to the kitchen, and, it was my turn. It was my turn to get a little kick. That's another story there. I did a talk. Starseeds have a problem. Some Starseeds have problems with substances too, man. It takes a while to overcome them. The only addiction really I have left is cigarettes, dude. And the thing is, man, I never smoked till I was 38. But I guess I gotta have some sense of humor in it, because, dude, you couldn't get a DUI for smoking. I mean, I could go, dude, I'm telling you right now, I could go smoke 2 packs of cigarettes and I'm not gonna get a DUI. No shit. Dude, and here's the good thing about it. You know what I really, guys, I'm sorry, it's probably a dark habit. The thing I really love about cigarettes, when we break it down, right, the thing I really love about it, man, is that you're getting all the bad health effects, right? You're getting all that shit in your lungs like you would if you were smoking crack, or if you were smoking whatever, some really dank weed, not with really weed, but, or whether, you were smoking meth or whatever the fuck you were smoking, right? You're getting the same health effects, with that cigarette. But you know what the good news is, though? You're not getting high. You ain't getting high. None of that, see, folks, none of that false pleasure. None of that false pleasure that can take over you. Yeah, dude, I got a whole bunch of comedy, guys. I'm not going to get into your Arcturian's a little higher vibration, but we were, me and my homeboy worshiping the tobacco gods. That's a classic. Oh, yeah, praising them for the cigarettes and the nicotine they brought here. And, dude, I got into a Jane Roberts mode, into channeling with them. It had people pissing their pants. The insomnia here, the Pleiadians put me up to one dark thing once, and it's not really dark, but it is if you're not awakened. They put me up to, I was in a fucking complete trance both times, and it was over a 2-month period. One for 4 minutes, one for 3. It was called the Insomniac Stalker. Yeah, oh, it's hilarious. It kind of was our motto to see, or our testing to see if you're a real starseed or not. If you, typically what happened was this: if you weren't a starseed at all, you'd think it was creepy and you can vibe with it. Now, when we get up to our angel brothers and sisters and the star brothers and sisters of mine, the star brothers and sisters all laughed their fucking ass off. Now, the angels thought it was funny too, but they could see the creepy side in it too. But they did think it was hilarious too. But they could see, yeah, it's kind of weird, huh? I said, well, that's the Pleiadian sense of humor. They'll take it right. I mean, they'll take it right to the limit before anything gets bad. Yeah. But twice they did that. And then I had a buddy of mine I used to do shows with on here. Man, he must have asked me 30, hundreds of times over a couple-year period to do a third one. I said, bro, I can't. Dude, I said, even if I was offered some money for it and I could use it, I wouldn't do it. I can't do it through no consciousness. I wouldn't be able to come up with anything right. Dude, this was all the Pleiadians doing this shit, being funny. But the Insomniac Stalker was about a dude who, if he'd be in town or shopping or something, he'd overhear people say he overheard somebody talking about not getting a good night's sleep or, man, he's insomnia lately. He would get a tear in his eye and start crying, get upset, and then he'd wonder why they weren't sleeping, and he'd start showing up across the street in their house and just wondering if they were sleeping in there. And follow them to their work. He's all, I'm going to follow to your work. I'm gonna develop a pattern that you're on. I'm gonna profile you in every little sense of what you do. Oh, dude, it went there, dude. And it wasn't even me. It was them. Oh, dude, people were dying laughing. People I never thought would laugh. Yeah, because the thought of somebody, stalking somebody's guys. Yeah, that was there was only one other time they put me in deep trance. One other time. And it produced an 8-minute meditation I did about massaging the divine feminine and her root chakra, inside of her root chakra with star energies. You can imagine, right? My wife said, no, I don't think so. Nobody's listening to that anymore after you put it through a couple things. About 3,500 people have liked it. And the thing is, I never watched the whole thing through until about 9 years later. And then I'm doing dinner bros. What the hell my wife was talking about? Yeah, I don't cuss or anything or get real graphic, but it's very provocative. Let me put it to you this way. It may not be appropriate but it would be a starseed woman, an angelic woman, if her man that she loved, with all her heart, if he, I'm telling you, man, she'd probably melt like a snowflake if she was to hear this from him, what I said on there about her being tired. My goddess, she worked so hard. And yeah, I went there, man. And it's not necessarily not how I feel, seriously. But what I'm saying is it was through consciousness. And that's the only 3 times I've dealt with him through consciousness. And then there was 2 in the dream once. That's it. Other than that, it's just like Donegan does it, telepathy. Showing me shit, I saw it. And then, if I want a conversation, I can have a conversation. But there isn't really shit I can ask them. I mean, because they deal in parallel reality too, right? So, and they're not going to tell me how to, maybe if I beg them a little bit, they'll teach me about E equals MC squared, right? But I mean, there's nothing I want to, because they deal in parallel realities. I tried one time to be an idiot years ago when I first met them. I asked them, hey, we have this thing called the Super Bowl here. And he smiled and said, I know. I said, well, hey man, who's gonna, come on, don't be such a square and don't give me any answer like you can't tell me because the growth pass. I went on him like that. I said, and this word was like grinning at me. I said, what? Who is it, man? Come on, give it up. Who's gonna win? You operate and you say you're multidimensional, traveling in and out of time. Who the hell wins it? Man, boy, he put me straight. He's all, we operate right now in endless parallel realities that you couldn't even imagine, and they're all coming through at one time. He's all, listen, before he said that, he tried to be funny. He said, they're all going to win. And I said, what? I said like this, what? They're all going to win. He said, yes. There's a dimension in a parallel reality where they all win. That's how it goes. There's endless parallel realities. And then he got on me, he's like, so you know that already? And I guess I said, oh, yeah, I guess I did. But, yeah, man, it's funny, that grin on his face, and he said, oh, they're all going to win. Thanks a lot. Gee, thanks. You know what? God, if I could go back in time, I'd ask him, I'd say, hey, well, can we sit there and map out these dimensions and try to figure out which one it is that, the Miami Dolphins win the Super Bowl? No, I mean, because there's endless ones, who knows? But you know what I mean. And I don't watch that shit anymore anyway. Competition brings division. I can't believe I was hung up on that shit for so many years. Now I tried to do this one last year for, when my dad and son are around watching, like, our local college, Oregon, play because they happen to be number 1 in the country. I'm a bad luck charm. I don't watch it anymore. I don't. No. This will be my last time I ever watch football. If they win this next game and get to the championship and they're way ahead with about a minute or 2 to go, or, then I'll jump back into 3D mode for 1 minute because of a special circumstance, like it'd be a dream of a lifetime if they won. And that's what, and number 1 in the country, nobody knows where Oregon is. I make a point, tell people. I said, I'm sure you know where Eugene, Oregon is now. After a game or we won or something. But yeah, we're out in the woods, man. I grew up in the days where, Look, the internet didn't come around until a year after I got out of high school. It all, period. I mean, I'm talking 28K dial-up servers you get bumped off of. Only people with pretty good money had them for a couple of years, really. Well, I can't say that's a lie. That's a lie. Now they had this shit for since '92. I found out about that. Okay, it was a package you bought. You could get it through your phone modem, plug it into your computer, and you got 8 websites. There's 8 websites. Yep, 8 websites. But they were like bulletin boards and a 28K dial-up. You couldn't. Yeah, I mean, shit, you couldn't even listen to anything on the internet until about '96. I'm like, leg keeps rubbing against this refrigerator here. I'm sitting out in the billiard. But it just I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, the internet, right? But you couldn't really listen to anything until about a year and a half when it came out after early '95. Then you kind of hear Napster and shit. It was kind of crazy, it'd be shoddy, okay? It'd be shoddy. It'd be like I used to do on the show when we used to have Google Hangout, have to go through YouTube and do Google Hangout. Yeah, you could have more people in the room and stuff, but the equipment was shoddy. As far as I could never have more than one person on camera ever, which works out for me because I like to keep a little suspense. I'm not afraid to show my face, but I'm all over the place. But I like old school radio, and I'm not in it to make anything. So if there's one person out there that liked that I did my job, really, that's as far as my ego stretches, right? My ego stretches as far as it. Man, one like, one like, of course. Yeah, I know, and I'm not a liar. Hey, I take all. I've had 5 channels, and I take them, and I take each one of them and like the post to bump it. I'm not. It's a strategy. Okay, so that's one way I'm a little shady, I guess you could say earthwise. I tape a show on this, like Arcturian, right? Well, I'll have my 4 other pages. The Palladian Express Productions, which is the Larry Locken 1 channel, and I'll take the 2 channel Palladian Library Project, and I'll come over and like it. Just to give it some likes, and then I'll have Aero, how do I say it, Aerosmith. Then I'll have the orbs page to it, right? And then I'll have the blue one. Okay, and the blue one I really want to get going. I'm telling people this. I'm offering blue healing to people, and it's tailored to your needs. We have to sit and talk on the phone, and there are several options. I mean, it's like picking off of 3 menus a different thing. You can. I've got access because the Blue World ordered a lot of these guys. I won't do it, but I can get you the avians if you really want them bad enough. Seriously, I'll get you them, okay? Um, you know, um, that 12th dimensional one I got out of Pleiades, the plasma lightning. They're dying for somebody to channel me. I'd almost pay somebody if I had the money. I'd say, hey, would you do me a favor? Would you see what you can get when you try it down? Try to contact them because they've offered it. They're the Plasma Lightning Collective, 12th dimension out of Pleiades. They're new. Their lightning comes in being funny the other night, and they're like, oh, you can get it in, if you're lucky, you'll get it in blue. But they do have ones, I haven't seen them all. They have ones, it's like a plasma lightning. It'd be like this. If you need glasses, take your glasses off and look at a street light at night. And look at it, it's kind of a plasma look thing. That's what they look like. And they come in white, they come in yellow, they come in blue. What else says it? Yeah, white, yellow, blue. Yeah, white, yellow, gold. No, sorry, gold. God, how could I forget those guys? And they will use people. They will use because it's so dense down here and shit. They'll use our streetlights because it's pretty much that's one of them. One kind of not real totally clean, but that's one of the fairly clean technologies we have. Is shit that you have in city streetlights now. LEDs or whatever, they'll last forever. Like 20 years, man. And I think some of it's because the extraterrestrials are charging them back up. Just like the Pleiadians, I don't know if they fixed the technology, but man, they'd have to come into Earth at an angle. Earth is weird. Oh, by the way, the Arcturians, they say there's a couple others, but it's nobody I've ever heard of, and they didn't tell me. But they're the only ones, really, that can come to Earth and cloak if there's clouds. Like cloak. Otherwise, you can cloak all day long in a clear sky, but your ship goes into one of them damn clouds. The outline of it's going to show Cygnus was going to show you can't, for some motherfucking reason, in advanced societies like that are that high-tech, they can't yet. I'm sure they'll figure it out eventually, but they can't cloak in that stuff. And I don't know why. It's just good. Mist isn't. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It could be spiritual. I don't know what the hell the deal is. But no, they can't. The Arcturians can, but nobody else can that I know of. They said somebody else, but I don't know who the hell it was. Andromeda, maybe. I don't know. I don't think they come here much, though, do they? What I need to get is somebody. I need to find somebody who channels them really good. I know a few people. I want to talk about them. See, the Andromedans, they kind of fly under the radar, right? They can fly under the radar, but don't mistake their kindness for weakness. If they just say tomorrow morning, the Andromedans decide, man, we love the light. We want to be more in the spotlight of the light. Dude, they could. I mean, nobody gonna get in their way. I mean, seriously, man. I mean, if it came down to chin check, and Arcturians are probably the only one that could do it, and it'd be crazy. So everybody knows what a badass Andromeda is. They're calm, they're quiet, they stay behind, but there ain't anybody with half a pea of a brain that would underestimate them. Fuck, man. No. This suicide mission. Yeah, so, but they just kind of, they embody kind of the color blue too, because blue is that powerful thing. The way the white angels describe their blue, the blue angels, the blue orbs, okay, the angels are perfect, the white ones, so they can't really mess around in here at all or anything. The blue energy, okay, they say it like this, and I don't want to scare people. They say it would be like taking 99% of the most angelic soul that you could ever live in the universe, right? And then take 1%, go get 1% of the worst, dirty, foul, evil darkness ever. 1%. And only throw it in that 99%, that 1%. Yeah, see, you know what that would do? All that would do is just give them a little bit of an edge to do what they need to do in the lower dimensions sometimes. You know, 99 just as powerful, positive parts, right? Just as strong, and then one that's, plus it wouldn't even be one, because what that being would be able to do is he'd be aware of it, right? He'd be aware, okay, there's that 1% in me, and I just gotta watch what I think and do, or maybe it wouldn't even be a problem, but yeah, I mean, but that one, I always thought that was weird to be told. I mean, I'd take it, shit, man. I mean, and so, 1 out of 100 times per human, you'd fuck up and do something wrong, but not even that, because you'd be aware of it, and you'd know to nip it in the bud, if you could. Yeah, I thought that was really weird. Yeah, but they look up to they go to the blue orbs for questions, even though they're ranked ahead of the blue orbs. They go to the blues, for advice. So does the captain of that fleet that I channeled, the rainbow orb. He does too. Well, he does too. Yeah, and it's the blue commander is, it's good, and sometime he'll probably retire too. These are all souls and stuff. These orbs they're human beings from other star systems. They're angels. They're people getting ready to reincarnate back into Earth. I guess I've heard this from several sources, even a channel. Now, typically, if you're going to come back and reincarnate into Earth, right, and you're from Pleiades or even Lyre, fuck around with Lyre, or even in, Sirius A and whatever, right, you can take a tour for 2 years. They recommend on an orb ship. There's souls in those orbs, man. There's like 40 of them or 50 of them in every one that I saw, and then like 400 in the big one, the mothership, the Rainbow. But they go over Earth to check out the situation. And why wouldn't they? What's going on here? What's culture like? What's this? And they're pretty well astute at what we do and who we are. I mean, they know. There's probably fans of some of our shit up there. That I know that Fusacia was the pink Pleiadian. And her and that one other girl was the luminous from the crystal blue. I guess they love to pay attention to what's going on Earth. Yeah, and just if Fusacia comes through me, she's just excited. I mean, they have devices where they kind of listen to what's going on down here and pick. I guess when they were on college, she would try to pick up radio stations out of there. And so it's fascinating. And I was like that as a little boy. It's really curious, but I made the comment to her that it was kind of disturbing. Actually, she was that into us. Yeah, I was giving her a bad time, but I'm like, it's actually kind of disturbing, to be quite honest with you. I mean, but it'd be something I would do, so I can't talk. Hmm. Yeah, I love everybody. I better get off here. I mean, I could go on forever with my multidimensionalness. But yeah, I'd love to have anybody wants to be a guest. I'm not gonna run the fucking show. I will introduce you. See, this is the only thing, guys, left thing I'll tell you. This is the only thing I stress about the show. And it's so funny, I can tell other people. I stress the first 30 seconds where I've got to come on and say, this is Larry Locken, blah, blah, blah. And then it's that part where I introduce the guest and getting it just right. I've got to start writing it down. I used to just do it off the top of my head. Right, but making sure that's down. I'd rather have I'd rather have the whole show fucking fall apart. Right, and then instead of having, uh, instead of having, me fuck up that, sorry, excuse me, just mess up that first part where I say the name, who our guest is, where they're tuned into, and then at the end I stress a little bit too. It's like, okay, where they can find me, all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know, but I love everybody here. And peace out. I don't know nothing about nothing at all. No, I don't know. Here to learn. I'm just a conduit. That's it. That's it, guys. Mm-hmm. Hello, new person in the room. Mm-hmm. How's it going? Have you ever heard of the Pleiadians before, if you can hear me? Knock 3 times on the ceiling if you hear me. Okay. Mm-hmm. They're a group from the Pleiades. Would you like to hear about them? Do you know who they are? Okay, well, fine. I'm going to find out your name, and it's going to be, I'm going to have to, you need to know who they were. It's going to have to be known that you don't know who they are. So we're going to we love you. What we're going to do is we're going to get a crew, and we're going to come teach you about the Pleiadians. All your fellow sisters, you come over, and they'll tell you that it's a star cluster in the sky. And make sure there'll be 7 of them, so each 7 can tell you. I'm giving you a bad time. My sense of humor is wacky and weird, okay? It is Pleiadian-like, and there are clusters of Pleiadians that are weird like that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the Pleiadians brought us disco and hippie colors and psychedelic rock and Pink Floyd and yellow, and got the Beatles turned around in the middle of their career. They did a few things. Brought us the 70s, which wasn't supposed to be in our timeline, and all that good stuff. Billy Meyer, brother Billy. Oh, would you guys ever like to hear about my relationship with Billy? Good old cousin Billy. Yeah, we have a whole crew of us over there. The guy named Moldavite and cocky ass dude. What's his name? Man? He's got good. He's good, but he's 777 all day, my man. Yeah, I know. He's got his. The dude's got good information, man. It's solid, right? But then he has to take these digs at people, and I know where he's coming from because I'm a Palladian. I know what and I know what he's up to when he's doing that, and I'm like, man, God, I hope I don't sound that fucking arrogant. Yeah, but what can you do? I mean, his shit's usually spot on. And really, I don't know, he likes to guilt trip people, you know. Oh, yeah. An American starseed having a cigarette. Yeah, no, here, we've talked, though, before. Here's the weird thing about him. I've said this a million times. 2011, 12, this dude and I were getting the same channelings all the time. I wasn't on the YouTube yet, okay? Wasn't on there till, this happened 11, 12. I wasn't on there until into 2013. But for 11, 12, him and I were getting the same shit every week. He was getting it still on YouTube and stuff. He was posting, right? And I go and I look and, his new stuff. And sure as fuck, him and I had that one. That same message. Yeah. Yeah. What's going on? I never can say goodbye. Well, I'm not going to be able to put this on TikTok because it can only go an hour. And I'll have to do the Instagram thing where I act like I'm going live, but take it on there. Watch, somebody's gonna turn me in now. No, it is what it is. I just like doing it. See, people, I just do. I mean, I'm not, believe me, hey, listen, I have no misconceptions. I realize I'm not the next Jimmy Church. I'm not the next, fucking, no, as much as I can't stand George Norrie, I'm not the next Norrie. I'm not the next Art Bell. I'm not. There was a time when I was told I could. My voice used to be a lot better, and I posted a tribute last night, actually, from 10 and 9 years ago. These shows I used to do with these really ascended ladies. And it's funny because the best one on there, between the Canadian sister of mine and the British one, fuck, they're a great show, and they had great chemistry. Well, not me, but some other dude came around, and it was drama back then. We were running all those groups and at the biggest game in town. Yeah, I mean, look, we had the second biggest Facebook page for a while called the Palladians. It was 50,000. This group had the Starsuits at 75. Glenn Cole, and he's a really good dude. He had, and then he came in with Lightworkers of the World, and it quickly built up to like 100,000. But what I'm saying is, though, is I said this other night on here, man, there are groups with 500,000 people in it, 200,000 people in it. So I didn't get her to hit the 144. That's okay. I got other experts on it. And these poor kids that think it has anything to do with souls. In 144,000 souls. Yeah, it has about, okay, yeah, it does. But it has about if you're just talking about our little dimensional, it has about 1/12 of the relevance. Now it's about 1/12 of it. But then we start getting into how it expands into 144, and it's different everything. I'll just give you a generic example, people, and I'm wrong on a couple of these. I know, I get it. It'd be like this. 12, 12 existences, 12 universes within all 12 of those existences. Within all those existences, there's, 12 solar systems. And within the solar systems, there's 12 planets, and, you get down to whatever, right? And that's your 12, 12, 12. It's endless. It's really one of those simple things, but it's so mind-blowing. Because it keeps going, even though it's a routine, right? 12 goes into 144, of course. So that's rounded. So that's thinking inside the box of Earth, you would think, because it's the same. It just keeps going. But that's the deal. It just keeps going. So, and that's what I call God, people. If you ever hear me talking about our Creator and everything that we are all part of, I call Him. Well, the long word is I call Him the divine source, the divine creational source flow of all that is that consciously goes. The divine creational source flow of all that is that consciously goes. But a lot of times I'll just be in a hurry and I'll just say, what do you think? What do you think of the source flow of all that is that just consciously goes? And it's true, it does. It just goes and goes and goes, people. Yeah. Yeah, how about this? How about this for a little humor? I know that Arcturians, see, here's the deal with Arcturians right now. They're trying to become the Pleiadians again. They want to have fun with this ascension thing going on, getting probably got this itch to get back to the game, in their higher dimensions. And a lot of the higher up Pleiadians are like, fuck that, man, no, we want to ascend. So you got this game where they're both wanting to, it's funny, we're giving a bad time. They're both wanting to be each other right now and relive old glories and, Pleiadians reliving new ones. But, what about this? Yeah, when we're in the right environment, things are taken care of. We could get the Arcturians a little humor. We could have this guy Anonymous come on, and he said he's the angry Arcturian. He still has the Arcturian values, but he's grumpy. He doesn't say anything, cuss or anything. By the way, I want everybody to understand something. I've been a social rights activist. I was trusted by the Black Panther Party, and I do not, that word, if you know what I'm talking about, is not in my vocabulary. And so I just want to get that away. Just not things like that don't necessarily reflect the opinions and anything. I'll give you the generic TV answer you get, but it's true. I don't, because I grew up around them all. And plus, I wouldn't have given a shit if I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere with 2 people in the town. That's my consciousness. I still would have understood what the problem is. That a race that had their DNA taken away, DNA fucked with, a race that had had their heritage robbed from them. Raped, murdered, genocide, science experiments done on them. And then, oh yeah, but you see, it's all okay though. Hold on, hold up a minute. It's all okay because their own people sold them to us. Now, I'm not trying to get racial. I'm sure if you're white, you've heard that. their own people. So could you imagine, you guys? Could you imagine a sick pervert in court, a trafficker going, "Yeah, but his parents sold him to me." I mean, see, if you want to go by that standard, he's got a hell of a lot more of an argument than some idiot, talking about, having slaves sold to him. I mean, that guy, to me, if anything, is sick, but he's got more of a leg to stand on than, the dude who's trying to traffic or whatever. Or, the other guy. Yeah, yeah, it's really ridiculous. So with that being said, we don't need to get into the Arcturian politics. They're above that shit. I don't think they even know or even care. It's all part of the process. Anyway. All right, Diesel. I love you, brother. I don't believe in heroes or idols, but no, never mind. I was thinking of something else. I get these channels sometimes come back to me, and I was thinking about a baseball player that just retired that named Ricky Henderson, who, when I was into sports, he meant a lot to me because he played for my favorite team. And then he played for like my second and third favorite team. It was weird, but all-time stolen bases leader in the history of baseball. I don't have any heroes. I have two heroes, people, honestly, and I'll tell you, they're the people you wouldn't even know. One guy died one day before I was 40, in 2015. Died on July 31st. His name was Roddy Piper. I knew him. He was a wrestler. You'd probably, if you've ever seen this movie, They Live, and every paranoid star seed should once in a while. I don't, because I've seen it a million times. Even I love him, and I met him. My uncle used to, with the wrestlers when they started on Portland before he got big, he was out here, and my uncle used to be their, let's just say that he used to, he he used to help them get things. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. He used to help them get things. Everybody's going to be like, if anybody heard that, they'd be like, what kind of things would he get them? Oh, just things. Maybe if they were little, I don't know. It'd been a long day. They'd wrestled every night that week, and maybe they needed a little bit of, they just needed a little bit of enthusiasm, right? A little artificial enthusiasm. Yeah. Anyway, no, he was their Avon salesman. Yeah, for their wives. Yeah, right. Anyway, yeah. But that's how the shit was. Anything like that, man. I can't believe I can do radio like this sober, man. People don't do it. Really, people do not do. Well, I can't lie. I'm about to have a cigarette. But let me tell you again, people may be getting all the bad health effects of a bad drug, but there is no highness, none of that false pleasure. You ain't getting any pleasure. You ain't getting high. I promise you. You don't have to worry. You really, folks, you don't have to worry if you have a cigarette. I promise you're not going to get any pleasure on it. None of that false fun. Because you don't want the falseness to engulf you. You want, I've got a gentleman who would enlighten you. His name is, he's passed away now, but all of his stuff is still on YouTube. His name is Pat Robertson. He used to work for the 666 Club, 700 Club. Yes, and he was a really enlightened man. I always thought, if you know who he is, I always thought, man, it would be so lucky. It would be so lucky. Be so lucky to be a young lady, a woman growing up in that kind of household. How open-minded. God, wouldn't it just be something? Wouldn't it just be something? Seriously, you hadn't lost it, your brother. But yeah, man, it would be really something. Can you imagine, ladies, how confident? I can't put myself in your shoes, but I can only, if I can imagine, I gotta imagine, though, that you guys are like thrilled at the proposition of it. You're probably now, I don't mean to put you in a bad mood and make you regret your childhood now or your parents you have now, but, Pat had that kind of understanding. He just understood people. Yes, and the Lord is always punishing you because he loves you. He loves you. You know that? He loves you and he wants you to know he's a jealous God. It just hurts him. It hurts him if you were talking to either God or space creature. He's jealous. I'm jealous. It hurts. Dude, think about this shit. That's the scariest motherfucking thing I ever heard. A being, let's just play it out like this, a being that ascended, right? That totally ascended in the angelicness. And really, they're going to give a shit whether you talk. Dude, not only would they probably not give a shit, a real one, it'd be so low they wouldn't even notice it. And the surprise, I mean, really? I'm a jealous guy and I get mad. Over what, dude? Who in the fuck would your homeboy? He must have had a homeboy or something that got his girl. I'm convinced of it, man. I mean, really. I'm jealous, and God said you can't do that. These are, you're putting, Alger said it best, annoying Swiss brother over there, that, you're praying to extraterrestrials, dude. And I thought the same thing. Before he said that, yeah. I mean, for good or worse, for better or worse, whether they're Pleiadians or whether they're lizards from Draco, right? You're praying to extraterrestrials. People really don't get into that. And if you weren't here earlier, I got an uncle that works up, I have accused him of being a cult leader many times. Yeah, his first name rhymes with hash, and his last name, the last part of his first name rhymes with car. But the thing about him is he's changing a little bit. He's finally, I think, he left the Federation because he was so arrogant, and then he had all his own equipment. He wanted to be on his own, and I didn't vibe with that. And we had a good time together before I incarnated here, and I put that on video simulated everything that was going on the month before I incarnated here in 75. Came down with the Pleiadians, and everybody was here, our families. We had Playa and Nora from Lyra, a couple cosmonauts. Yeah, even Uncle Ash was nice that whole time. He was, didn't have a problem. Wasn't as bad, wasn't only in a good mood when it was on his terms. He wasn't a dickhead trying to manipulate people and, just belittle them. And I love him. He's a family member of mine, so I don't get into it with people about Ashtar. But it's personal, right? It's personal, and some of it's on me too. Right, it's just something we got to work out. But I don't agree with some of the shit he's done in the past because I know what he's done. But I'm not going to say what I've done either. I made him as a chip captain. Might have made a double deal here and there to get out of a situation for the betterment. I mean, I sure as hell didn't, run a mission so I could get more equipment though. I'm not saying he did, but I was showing my home in the Pleiades. It was freaky, you guys. I'll tell you what, anyone you told me the story, I'm sorry. I love you, Star President. I wouldn't believe you. I would not believe you. About 3 months ago, I wasn't even online, right? I was on my tablet going through a bunch of pictures I'd taken of the sky, of beings in the sky, and those clouds, tons of them. I had like 35 of them. 4 of them were a friend of mine. It's just 4 of them. But it was the same kind of shit I took. I mean, I might as well say him. And I got to looking at one. This guy's eyes were sticking out. It was a big ship. His eyes could have been the headlights. And then there was another little guy smiling next to him with like a kind of like little pleading energies like that. If you ever seen them, they can look kind of like they're devious sometimes, not really evil, but borderline. And I kept looking at it. And I said, you know what? You guys are staring at me. Is this real? I don't know what possessed me. I wasn't on any drugs or anything. I'm like, what what the fuck's up with Orion? Why did Orion destroy our homeland? Why did the Dracos destroy Lyra? Why? And I got real pissy. And then, dude, that little being I said was next to him, this guy moved around the picture. He moved up to the picture. He got in this little fucking black thing that looked like a graph on one side of the screen, and then he went to the other. Man, I hope my family could never hear this go in that house. And okay, so it did a circle around the goddamn clouds and come back and parked it right where it was. And what the hell? And I looked at him, I looked at that beam, right? And slowly, it started erasing the white fell on the clouds and exposing who he was. Okay, I'm gonna stop at that point for a second. I'm gonna tell you something else real quick. So my ex-wife was like, talking about it, and I didn't know there's a technology out there. It's called AI. It's an AI where you can do that to people's screens while you're talking to them online. But man, I wasn't online at all. In fact, this was a weird goddamn thing. That tablet wasn't online. The thing was off, and I had it on airplane mode. Yeah, and this thing proceeded to. It's a wonder of all wonders if it was AI, because he was like, I'm like, was I born in the Pleiades? Was I a little boy there? And he shook his head, the little clouds, and I said, it was Lyra, huh? Yeah, I thought so, not Lyra. And then became the Pleiades, huh? To transform it with the Mancies and the couple of Vegas. And the golden one's the last of that family that left here. And he shook his head, and he said, I said, was I a good kid? And like, he really got emotional. Like, the eyes shook, and okay, more clouds started clearing. Oh, fuck. There was a little boy that looked 80% like I did as a young kid. And then it showed me as a teenager, and man, it was a dead ringer almost. The difference just could have been the planet vibration. It showed me too. I said to him, I said, is that me? Is that me getting into Space Academy so I could become an officer and a captain? And again, the cloud went up and down. I said, yes. Now, here's the weird thing, dude. This is what would be weirder than it being real, right? This is what would be really fucking weird, is if it was AI that moved that quick, man. They must have had my thoughts on, because to show me that shit on the fly, oh, I wonder what I look like as a kid. And then a second later, showing all the shit. And I understand they can go get pictures from your. I don't have many when I was a kid online. I have one with them shooting Spider-Man in '78, and I have one where I'm I don't know what the hell I'm doing. No, nothing really. Standing there with my cousin. Um, and then I've got one is when we won the T-ball championship for Southwestern Oregon when I was in second grade. But that's it, man. But for him to have all that planned and do that, to know that he would have had to know that I was going to go. I'd never go in there and look at shit on the in the files. If I needed to download something, put on Facebook or whatever, sure. I never go in there and just look. I have all these files of different pictures and different, descriptions for things. But you gotta be a cold day in hell usually when I go in there. But I did, and yeah, it was weird. It was weird, and my wife even next month like, she's like, I gotta tell you, if it was just a guess, she's like, I don't think it was AI. But see, that's the craziness of it. I'm gonna go on, that's the craziness of it. If that were AI, that'd be even wilder to me. That means the student in my mind already, and he, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, everything's a chain together. We talk like this, like, okay, the Matrix, here's another thing, the Matrix was not invented for evil purposes by the light. Nope. After all those wars and shit with Orion, there were people traumatized. You think people have been traumatized here? I don't think so. They have been, but I mean, without war up there, people were really messed with. And so, you know, yeah, I gotta get off here. I can't set the record tonight. The longest show I've ever done. Let's see where we at. Let's see. Dude, I'm getting blind, man, and I broke my one pair of glasses. God, I gotta get Oregon Health Plan glasses. The whole country should have Oregon Health Plan, folks. I think we're the only state in the union that has has basically social care. It's a perfect health plan. There's only one bitch about it. One bitch at all. It's perfect in every way, shape, or form you could imagine. High tech. But they only pay for glasses for you if you're like under 25 and over like 55. They won't pay for your glasses. They won't pay for glasses for, but I hope, they should. You know what I mean? I think they will one day. They're that kind of company. It's just kind of maybe an insurance thing. But other than that, man, I mean, there's two different kinds of plans. Then they're both good. The only difference is on one plan, you have to pay $1 or $2 for a copay on shit. Like $1, $2 at the most. The other one, you don't. And it'd be really neat to just introduce that in the country, because then we could get rid of these greedy corporations that sell it. Of course, we know that, right? And the thing is, right, they talk about us raising our taxes. Dude, by the time we cut all the red tape and shit out that it takes, and the money we have to come up with to pay for bills that don't get paid anyway for people in VR, by the time that shit's all cleared out, you're going to eliminate a lot of what those extra taxes would have been. And so, in, Denmark, 40% taxes, guess what? Everybody's taken care of. Um, You know, I mean, what more do you want? You can't fucking take it with you, people. I mean, honestly, you can't take it with you. If you know, if you're holding, you know what that means. You can't take it with you. I mean, what is it you want after 3 cars and 2 houses and you know, and people are starving? I mean, really, I know, believe me, I like shit like that too, man. Hey, I'm a greedy fucker. People would get on me for having one. I'd have a second nice home. I had 2 of them, yeah, sure. Maybe. But no more, but still, that's still getting something, so I can't, you know, I'd be a hypocrite for talking, of course. But I mean, look, I know everybody's senses are different and, you know, how they were raised and everything, but goddamn, man, come on, how many do you need, really, dude? How many? I think the question has to be asked in that situation is how often do you use it? What do you use it for? You know, I mean, and get people to ask that question themselves in private so they don't get offended. You know, have a deep conversation with themselves and be like, you know. So I don't know. I don't got some editing to do, man. Was anybody here for the start of the show? Yeah, that was. I'm just nervous about somebody using that kind of word. No, I didn't fuck, shit, piss, or anything like that. Anyway, we're out. This is Rockin' Larry Locken. Oh, by the way, if you want to find me, which I'm sure you're just delighted to after hearing me talk all this time, and I'm sure you're just waiting to hang on every word I say, man. I'll even give you a 900 number. You can call and listen to me give you predictions about anything and everything, but nothing at all. Man, I'll do it. I'll call you, give you psychic. If you're older, you might remember the psychic hotlines. Oh, I do. A lady that used to do shows for me on here, the best Jamaica I've ever known, best palm reader I've ever known. Legitimate, fucking legit as hell, Natalie Alea. There's plenty of videos on here. Her and the girl who are really popular now, Bridget Rao. They used to do a lot of shows for me. And Bridget's got 25,000 people. I'm so proud of her. I had to beg and beg and beg and beg and beg her to come on here. I said, girl, you're going to perform, you're going to kick it, you're going to rock it, man. And knock it out of the park. No, but I got her on. And look what she's doing now. She's great, doing her own thing, total pleading. You know, I had to quit doing this for 5 years because somebody wanted me to. So it just, fuck, man, I was behind times anyway. And it is what it is. Now I just, my big ego, instead of looking every time, do I got 100 views yet? Do I got 1,000 on the PEP, 100 on the white grid? No, I am, yeah, and it isn't even really that. But yes, my ego is well taken care of if I see one like on it. I kind of look at it this way, guys. This is still amazing. You would have to have a tape recorder when I was growing up and say, well, that, but, you know, this stuff will supposedly be forever. And if I have any grandkids, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I've got 3 wonderful kids. My oldest son can't have them. Leland is a special needs. He's a smart kid. He'd make a great father is the thing, actually. He would. Get back to my middle son. It's like my daughter, Skya. She's going to be 22. She's a diva, yet a strong career woman. Like a, I don't even want to say it on Sex and the City, like a Miranda, you know, the girl lawyer that her shit together. Yeah, but got a great boyfriend. She's not going to have kids. And her mom don't think, and her own, my ex-wife, we don't agree on anything. We agree on that. We don't think so. But she's all fucked up. She ain't going to have kids. Well, things change, right? They do. People grow, things change. But if anybody's not going to do it, it's them. Here's another enigma with my son and his girlfriend, Skya, and her boyfriend. It's up to them. They're gonna be if either one of them want that relationship for the rest of your life. It's already in the bag. I mean, they have to really fuck up. You have to go cheat and start drinking and acting like a stupid. I mean, really. Other than that, and how many people go through life with one person? That's it, and then they never get a divorce or never separate before they even got married. The percentage is pretty low. Now, what are the odds of having 2 kids that are going to be that way? They're going to, you know, and 3 kids that they've never done any drugs. And I just feel about that. I'm like, you know, if somebody would have called me and said my son was smoking weed and shit, and first of all, before I got serious, I would have laughed and I would have said, my son, really, I got to see this shit. Kyron smoked a pot. No, you know, he's the only one that's ever tried it. He tried it one time and he said it didn't He didn't smoke it right or whatever, and I wasn't going to teach him how. It was my son, but that was his big experiment with it. Yeah, I just knew I had an open mind. One thing I decided to do, and I was not a good dad at all. A lot of the time I was depressed and everything. But one thing I decided to do way, way before I ever had kids was this. I was going to make goddamn sure that even if they weren't the ones that were guilty of it, if somebody, if they got in trouble with some other kids, right, somewhere, I'd be rolling, and my first reaction would be like, "You're guilty. You're the one who did it. Why were you there? How were you there?" And whereas other people would be like trying to get the whole story from their kids' side, and being like, "Oh, not my kid could be involved." No, yeah, your kid is involved. If you generally people that have that kind of mindset, their kid is involved. Now, I'm an exception, but I don't have that mindset because I realize that any fucking thing is possible, right? I mean, they come home drunk, get drunk, or whatever one time. They never did ever, but I mean, it wouldn't have been the shock of the world. I mean, why would it be shocking that, like, your teenage kids are having sex and drinking? You got to understand something, too, is that because of technology and because of evolution, I'm sorry, they're more evolved than you are. You may have seen things as a Blu-ray that they didn't yet, but the only problem with them is they don't know what they don't know. That's it. They don't know what they don't know. I mean, like Bo don't know. Yeah. So yeah, I really don't know what to say. But I'm rocking and locking, and it's we'll see in a minute. Okay. Love you, Star Family, so much. And sometimes it's just good therapy for me because I've had that a couple of years in my life. Oh, long story. And now I'm lonely forevermore. When I didn't want people around me. Man, I had like hundreds of people on here. I didn't want to get on Facebook anymore because I had like 35 messages and go away and be another 3. And that happened, man. And I was afraid to I think I was afraid to take it to the next level. Now I'm just kind of, I can look back at my old shows and laugh. Yeah, but I seen the Namaste and I had started to do a blue healing. But I we didn't have time and she took off out of the show and I gotta get out. Right. I'm in like the 14th dimension now, and my body's not ascended enough yet to go up there. Right. Holler, I'm on Facebook, wherever you find me. I'm not going to give you a bunch of shit. Larry Locken anywhere, any social media platform I'm on, it's either Larry Locken channel, one word or 2 word, or separated, you know what I mean, and maybe the behind it. Some of them I have a nickname too, but you'll find me. And not that you'd want it because it's the same shit, I'm just being repetitive to keep up with times. You got to work within the system. It's like politics. It's bullshit and everything like that. But please educate yourself as a few things. Find out how many senators there are. You can Google it. Guess what? There's 100. Every state has 2. You think that's fair? No. Hell no, it's not. You think some tumbleweed state out of as much states like California, New York, Texas? No. Why? Why? That'd be like a price, a student body election where one neighborhood got, okay, these kids over here get 50 of those. These kids over here get 30, and those kids over there get 30. So he could still win the popular vote in that 50, right? And get those. But the other 2 have teamed up with their electorates, and they're going to put, him in office, even though he won most votes. That's like it. And some sweet 70-year-old lady the other day I was talking to us about things and healing and stuff, and she really didn't know any of that shit. I'm like, what? Congress, House of Representatives, there's 435 members, but not always. So I'll be amazed if somebody can touch it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know what I'm saying. Good night, guys. And this is another thing. This is going to see if I can get the shit off here. I love you guys so much, man. Peace on the other side. I'm Larry Locken. Hit me up. Somebody, if you see me, just if you do me a favor, I could really use it. Go to Facebook and just say hi. I'm not going to inundate you with a bunch of shit. Believe me, I know how it goes. Just say hi to me, okay? I could really use it. Really, really, really use it, man. I'm reaching out. I'm telling you. It's about as bad as this. I had this trip going on yesterday. I got to say this, and then I'll go. I've got the 5 YouTube channels. You know why? That's how many was given to me when I started. I didn't use the 2 of them forever. except for on the third one, the Arcturian one, which is this one, I did put 2 channelings in a show we did, Jane and I. That's it, though. I'm not even considered using it. The other 2 I had used to put, a video or something that I could, shorts that I could download from other people to listen to. So I got them and renamed them, okay? And I went through this, but the blue one, the smallest one, was at like 46 today. I try to get a couple people to like it and give me the runaround. Now it's up to 49. And why that's important is, see, I can do everything with that channel, but I can't broadcast live from it until it has 50 subscribers. And then what it does is it takes a day or 2 to polish up and, make sure you can do it. No. Look, am I still on? I'm still on? What the fuck, man? Sorry, guys, for cussing. Nobody's ever going to listen to me again now. I was going to channel the translucence today and the crystals, but, man, look, I'm no Daniel Scranton, guys. I know Daniel. Dude, Daniel and I come up together. Seriously, man, nice to see that kid was... I knew that he was clear, enlightened, and he had a consistent flow about him. He's very methodical, but yet he's really open-minded too. You know what I mean? See, this is what I am. There's 2 things that nobody can touch me at. Run-on sentences. If you know me in the conversation, run-on sentences, you'll never... I got that down. Guinness Book of World Records was even called by one of my listeners one time, or followed me on Facebook because of the way I wrote. And it's funny, my real life with business and shit, it's perfect documentation. But, and so I'm a good judge of talent too. I'm a really good judge of who's going to be the next best handler. Who's going to be, and I'm probably 80-90% on their level. At least it's just that they can articulate it better than me and know a few other points because I'm a Blu-ray. But I'm a great judge of talent. I'm a good scout. Okay, this girl's going to be the best chandler or going to be a great chandler because of this, and this. She's multidimensional. I know one right now that's going to be blow Cryon and Lee Carroll out of the water when she starts getting into doing them. And she's already wrote a book with her co-author, David. Her name is Francesca. And, yeah, she's multidimensional. There are a couple people that are like right at her level and shit, but they don't have the multidimensional that she does. Her channelings are, the ones she puts out now are really cool, but those aren't the ones I'm talking about. She's got ones that are going to come out that are, I'm going to make Lee Carroll or Bashar sound like they're, they just kicked it up about 5 notches. And I can tell when people would be good on the air too, and articulate well. I used to do it a lot better. I'm a scout, that's what I am. I'm that guy that would want to do this. Say you work for a big news organization, you got Monday through Friday, the top news tandem, guy and a girl, top news tandem in the whatever tri-state area, and they work Monday through Friday, the 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock news, whatever. Well, I'm that guy that'd be like to be their assistant during that time, and then I'm the guy that would on the weekends want to be the man. I'll be that man when you have your 2 days off. I'll be the weekend, like Dan Rather was the Cronkite before Rather took over. And be their field reporter during the week, and then let me have my spotlight 2 nights a week during the weekend. That's kind of what I look at it. I'm just a conduit, but some people say just step up a little now. That ship done sailed. But anyway, I love you, and fuck, what's the goddamn next? I gotta get out of here. This is gonna get leaked to some health organizations. This guy's got mental problems, but all of us do. Is that all I was on? Oh shit. Wow, really? That was a time warp then. Anyway, it was only an hour. Come on, fuck.